The Wandering Soul Planet. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426, Rare and Strange Beasts. This is a huge monster. Except for the white belly, it is completely black. Its body is like a turtle, with patterns printed on its back. Its head is like a crocodile, with a big mouth like a crocodile, huge eyes as big as footballs and shining golden yellow, a long neck like a giraffe, 4 big feet similar to those of a turtle, and a long tail similar to that of a dinosaur. Faced with this sudden strange monster, Feifei was immediately panicked and asked tremblingly, "Hey, who are you and what do you want to do?" Unexpectedly, the monster said in surprise, "Wow, such a small turtle, you can actually talk. Are you asking me?" As he spoke, he slowed down and finally stopped in front of Feifei, as if he wanted to chat with Feifei. Feifei was overjoyed and asked enthusiastically, "Hello. What kind of underwater creature are you? Why have I never seen such a huge creature like you before?" The giant beast took advantage of his seniority and said, "Of course, I am a prehistoric creature called Turtle Dragon. I seldom come out for a stroll. Of course you ordinary animals have never seen me." "Ah. Then I am so lucky." Feifei couldn't help but said ecstatically, "Excuse me, ancestor, where do you usually live? Why did you show your true self today?" The turtle dragon laughed. "It seems that, little friend, you are very curious. Haven't you heard the proverb curiosity kills the cat?" Feifei said in fear. "No way. Great immortal, you are not going to be cruel to a tiny and insignificant creature like me just because I have seen you." The turtle dragon continued to laugh and said, "Haha, haha. How funny. Little thing, that depends on your luck and my mood. If you make me mad or I'm in a bad mood, I will kill you in a second." "No one can do anything to me," Feifei asked nervously. "Then great immortal, how are you feeling now? I didn't make you mad, did I?" The turtle dragon nodded and smiled. "I'm in a good mood now, and you little thing didn't make me angry." Feifei hurriedly flattered the turtle dragon and said, "I said, an old senior like the great immortal, an ancestor who is knowledgeable and experienced, must be broad-minded, wise and brave, kind and generous, and observant." The turtle dragon stared at Feifei with his scary glowing giant eyes, without blinking, and said, "Little thing, why does your little mouth look like it's covered with honey at this moment? Do you have something to ask me? I only allow you to ask 3 questions you want to know, and I will try my best to answer you." Feifei was overjoyed and said, "Great immortal, you are really very perceptive. What I said is absolutely true. In this case, let me ask the first question. How deep is the underwater place where you live? What do you eat every day?" Gui long blinked, raised his eyebrows, and said, "You little thing are very cunning. You are really not an easy person to deal with. You actually packaged 2 questions into 1 question for me in an attempt to get away with it. I will answer you as 2 questions. First, the place where I live is very deep, probably about 2,000 meters below. Second, what I eat is of course the underwater creatures in the deep water area, some various deep water fish and other deep water creatures that you have definitely not seen, and they are usually much larger than most of the underwater creatures you have seen in this shallow water area. Therefore, I generally only eat creatures in deep water. And the creatures there are more nutritious for me." Feifei thought for a while and said, "The last question is, since you, great immortal, are living well in the deep water area, why do you run to the shallow water area or even to the surface of the water?" When Gillen heard this, he couldn't help but said angrily, "You little thing, what do you mean by this? Are you not allowed to come to the shallow water and the water surface?" Feifei hurriedly put out the fire and said, "Master, you misunderstood me. What I mean is, you are so comfortable staying in the deep water, why do you want to take risks here? Aren't you afraid of some accidents?" Gillen said disdainfully, "I have seen a lot of the world. There is no place I can't go. I can come and go as I want. Is there any creature in this world that dares to stop me?" Feifei said disapprovingly, "That's not necessarily true. For example, the humans on this planet have a way to deal with you." Gillen finally restrained his arrogant and domineering demeanor just now, showing a very scared look. "You little thing really can't talk. Why do you mention this? You have already asked all the questions. I'm leaving." Before he finished speaking, he fled in panic as if he had seen a ghost. "Hey, immortal, wait a minute. I haven't finished asking questions yet." Feifei hurriedly shouted to the turtle dragon. At this moment, the huge turtle dragon had already run away. Feifei heard the turtle dragon say that it was from the deep water area, 2,000 meters underwater, and he couldn't help but be fascinated and just wanted to travel to the deep water area. 2 days later, Feifei finally found a place where he could slowly sink along the bottom of the lake to the deep water area of more than 2,000 meters, and began his first deep water exploration in history. At 0 to 50 meters underwater, Feifei basically encountered the most common fish such as grass carp, black carp, crucian carp, bream, silver carp, big red carp and kissing fish, as well as loach, eel, oyster, crab and various shrimps, most of which live in groups. At 50 to 100 meters underwater, he encountered fish such as wheatear fish, starfish, pattern fish, triangle bream, red-eyed trout, taimen, fine scale fish, catfish, club flower fish, white eel, flower loach, mandarin fish, red carp, white salmon, grayling, small sturgeon, as well as underwater creatures such as crayfish, parasitic shrimp and hairy crab. At 100 to 200 meters underwater, he encountered fish such as doghead fish, catfish, small salmon, large salmon, smelt, thick-mouthed fish, red-eyed trout, mullet, big tang fish, small tang fish, big sturgeon, straight-mouthed dace, smurf fish and old man fish, as well as underwater creatures such as lobsters and big turtles. Unexpectedly, although this is not the bottom of the sea, it is still colorful. The deeper Feifei swims underwater, the more wonderful the fish, shrimp, crabs and other underwater creatures he sees. This opened his eyes and amazed him. After swimming 200 meters underwater, he felt that the scenery he saw was almost completely different from what he usually saw. Not only were the underwater rocks more diverse and weird, the water plants thicker and slender, but also the underwater creatures such as fish, shrimp and crabs grew more bizarre and diverse, lively and active, and more motivated. At this time, he was surprised to find that in the cracks of a milky rock, a pair of large lobsters with a pair of vice-like claws were fighting against each other. He couldn't figure out whether they were playing a game or fighting desperately. However, after a long time, Feifei didn't find that the fighting parties were seriously injured, so he was almost certain that they might be playing a boring fighting game. Chapter 427, Underwater World. After finding out the secret of the lobsters fighting, Feifei suddenly felt bored and planned to leave. But before he had gone far, he felt that his two hind legs and tail were clamped by something and he couldn't move. Feifei was shocked and turned his head to look behind him. He found that he was clamped by several naughty lobsters with their huge claws and couldn't move. Seeing this, Feifei couldn't help but get furious and scolded in lobster language. "You bunch of shrimp soldiers and crab generals, what exactly do you want to do? Do you want to rob Grandpa Turtle?" "But Grandpa Turtle doesn't have any treasure on him." A big lobster smiled and said, "Grandpa Turtle, don't be angry, we just want to play a game with you." Feifei asked in confusion, "You want to play a game with me? What game? I am a turtle, how can I play games with you lobsters? Isn't this too ridiculous?" The big lobster, A, said, "You can play, Grandpa Turtle, as long as you can point out the flaws of our fighting game." Another big lobster, B, also echoed, "Yes, as long as you can tell us the shortcomings so that we can continue to improve and improve." Feifei thought for a while and said, "In fact, I have seen your fighting performance just now. Generally speaking, you have more than enough fighting spirit, but lack of skills. You don't know how to play to your strengths and avoid your weaknesses to defeat the enemy." Lobster A asked hurriedly, "Grandpa Turtle, then how do you think we can play to our strengths and avoid our weaknesses, defeat the enemy and win?" Feifei said patiently, "The so-called play to our strengths and avoid our weaknesses, defeat the enemy and win means to develop our own advantages and overcome and avoid our own weaknesses. Specifically, it means to use the most powerful weapon in your hand. For example, the big claws of you lobsters are the most powerful weapons in your hands, and this is your advantage. And your weaknesses are the most vulnerable parts of your body, such as your eyes, belly, and foot joints. Of course, if there is no enemy relationship between you and you are just playing games, then you must not use your big claws to attack the opponent's eyes, belly, foot joints and other important parts, as this will cause irreparable damage and loss to the opponent. Do you understand?" Lobster B admired Feifei very much and exclaimed, "Grandpa Turtle, you said it very well, we will definitely remember your words." Feifei sighed and said, "Can I go now?" All the lobsters said in unison, "Of course, thank you, Grandpa Turtle, and have a good journey. After leaving the place where the big lobsters lived, Feifei came to the underwater market with many fish of all kinds. Although in this relatively deep underwater world, the natural law of big fish eat small fish eat shrimp is still followed, but the performance is more colorful and fascinating. You see, just like the bland event of big fish eat small fish, it is also interesting. A spotted sturgeon hiding in the milky rock cave deliberately let a big crab block in front of itself as a camouflage cover to make itself more hidden. When a confused small fish swims nearby, this cunning big sturgeon will suddenly attack, bite the unlucky small fish in one bite, and drag it into the cave for a delicious meal. However, there are exceptions, that is, small fish eat big fish. Of course, it is impossible for a small fish to eat another big fish. But a group of small fish to eat a big fish, which is equivalent to devilfish. However, in this relatively deep water area, this group of small fish that like to eat big fish are called waste fish. They are fish with extremely high IQ in the underwater world. They usually like to hunt those big fish that are isolated and have little fighting power. In the process of hunting, they even adopt strategies such as left and right encirclement, feinting to the east and attacking in the west and luring the enemy deep into the depths, so that the enemy will fall into their carefully designed traps unknowingly and become their meal on the plate. The reason why this group of small fish that love to eat big fish are called waste fish is that they are like monkeys eating peaches. They don't eat every big fish cleanly. Some of them just bite the other party to death, and before they have eaten a few bites, they go to hunt new big fish. It is really a waste of food, so they are called waste fish. Fortunately, this group of waste fish with strange behavior are not interested in big turtles like Feifei, so Feifei can carefully observe their wonderful performances. At this time, just when Feifei was watching with great interest, a group of dancing fish suddenly came. This is a group of small fish that look like salmon and like to show off. They use simple and graceful collective movements such as body superposition, crossover and rolling to make several beautiful shapes, which are worthy of the name of dancing fish. Although most of the dancing fish like to dance in groups, there are also some outstanding ones who will perform solo dances. If there are 2 outstanding ones, they will perform double fish dance. If there are more than 3 outstanding ones, they will also take the opportunity to perform multiple fish dance. Feifei also found a kind of drunkard fish that walks like a drunkard. Moreover, this kind of fish is large in size and likes to act alone and do its own thing. Naturally, it is easy to become the target of waste fish. There is also a kind of small fish that specializes in serving a certain big fish before and after throughout the whole process, which also attracted Feifei's attention. Feifei simply called it slave fish or waiter fish. Suddenly, a jumping and shaking jumping fish came into Feifei's sight. This fish actually uses the jumping method of kangaroos and hares to swim in the water. It is really strange. However, this walking method is still extremely rare in the underwater world. It can effectively avoid being hunted and attacked by natural enemies. It is really a smart way of survival. Not long after, Feifei found another very interesting fish. This fish is very smart and well behaved. It is about 1 foot long and looks lively, but it acts very cautiously. There are always 3 or 5 fish in front of it to scout and lead the way. Every time it swims a distance, it hides on the spot based on the terrain and landforms. When it finds that there is no danger, it will continue to move forward. Therefore, Feifei calls this fish a timid fish. No mistake, 1 poem, 1 post, 1 content, 1 6, 1 book, 1 bar, take a look. We all know that there are chameleons on land. In fact, there are also in the underwater world. Let's call them color-changing fish. Obviously, this kind of fish can automatically adjust the color of its body according to the color of the surrounding environment, and this kind of color-changing fish prefers to be quiet rather than active, so it is very difficult to be found in the dark deep water area, thus protecting its own safety very well. Feifei also discovered it by chance, that is, when a color-changing fish suddenly preyed on a small barracuda beside him, he suddenly discovered it, which made him feel very shocked. In addition, Feifei also found some playing stupid fish, which are also very cunning. On the surface, they look stupid and silly, but in fact they are very smart and sensitive. Once there is danger nearby, they will immediately drill into the nearest lava cave like lightning and disappear in the blink of an eye. Chapter 428, Learn from a Master. Of course, things are often divided into 2, there are smart fish and stupid fish, And those stupid fish are mostly not thoughtful enough, doing things half-heartedly, very cautious at the beginning, and then found that there was no danger around, so they relaxed their vigilance, and ended up in misfortune, becoming food for other big fish or abusive fish. In human society, there is an industry called actors, which refers to a group of people with a talent for acting. In this deeper underwater world, Feifei also found a kind of fish with a great talent for acting. This kind of fish likes to live in groups and also likes to fight for food. All the fish that grab food will show joy and complacency, while those who don't grab food will show listlessness and silence. Feifei also found another very interesting fish, which we call slippery fish. It never looks for food alone, but specializes in following other fish to grab food. Other fish hate it, and it doesn't matter if others hate it and disgust it, and it can't even be driven away. It is really thick-skinned. He also discovered a kind of thief fish, which is a fish that steals fish eggs when the female fish laying eggs is not around or not paying attention. This kind of fish is usually small and can easily become food for other big fish, shrimps and crabs. Therefore, it has to do this kind of stealing fish eggs. It is always sneaky and extremely cautious. This may be because it is forced to do so by life. The most ridiculous thing is that Feifei actually found that there are traders in the fish school. This guy specializes in doing some eating from the inside and stealing from the outside. He often joins other kinds of fish to divide up the property of his own fish school, food. It is not much different from the traders among humans. This kind of fish should be called spy fish. In addition, there is a kind of dissenter fish. It tries to make other fish fight each other for food, while it sits on the mountain and watches the fight, and eats them when both are injured, and a kind of fish taking advantage of troubled waters. When the water is turbid or the fish are crowded and chaotic, big fish usually like to take advantage of the chaos to sneak attack small fish, and it is estimated that the success rate is very high at this time. As Feifei swam deeper and deeper into the water, he gradually felt a little unwell, which was naturally caused by the increasing pressure at the bottom of the water. When Feifei entered the underwater depth of 700 to 800 meters, he felt that his head and limbs were extremely painful due to the pressure at the bottom of the water. It was really unbearable, especially his head, which felt like it was about to be crushed. He had to retract his head into the turtle shell, not daring to sink anymore, and began to turn his head to rise. Before he rose 200 meters, he saw a giant old turtle, referred to as old giant turtle, that was several times larger than himself sinking from above. Seeing this guy relaxed and happy, Feifei couldn't help but be surprised, and hurriedly went up to ask, "Hello, old senior, how deep do you plan to dive this time, 1,000 meters or 2,000 meters? When the old giant turtle heard it, he was immediately happy. "Hey, hello. I say, young man, can you not dive any deeper? Are you feeling very uncomfortable?" Feifei honestly admitted, "That's right. I admit that my physical fitness is poor. But I see that you seem to be fine, old senior, so I asked this question." The old giant turtle said complacently, "You have some vision. Back then, when I was young, I was about the same as you and could not sink very deep. But I was lucky enough to get the guidance of my mentor. Day after day, I finally practiced the skills I have today." Feifei was surprised and happy when he heard it, and quickly pleaded, "Old senior, master, today I am willing to worship you as your master, and I ask you to take me as your apprentice. I will kowtow to you now." The old giant turtle said in surprise and doubt, "You are busy kowtowing, but I haven't decided to accept you as my apprentice. Let me ask you, why do you want to sink to such a deep place? Do you have any bad intentions?" Feifei hurriedly vowed, "I swear to heaven that I don't have any bad intentions. I am just curious. If there is any deception, may the heavens immediately send down 5 thunders to punish me." The old giant turtle was relieved and said, "I don't think you will lie. Okay, I agree to take you as my apprentice today. However, I have to go down to do something these 2 days. I will teach you kung fu when I come back. You have to wait for me for 2 days." So, you float up more than 100 meters. There's a huge milky rock there. You wait for me there. Do you understand? Feifei was overjoyed and promised, "Master, I will definitely wait for you there. No matter when you come back, I will always be there. You can go down and do your work without worrying about me." The old giant turtle said with relief, "Well, not bad, good apprentice. The master will go down now. Wait for me to come back with peace of mind." As soon as the voice fell, he turned around and continued to sink. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. Feifei followed his master's instructions and continued to rise more than 100 meters. He came to the huge milky rock designated by the master, and then wandered around and stayed there temporarily, intending to wait until the master returned. After 2 days of boring and uncomfortable waiting, the master still did not return. Feifei gradually became anxious, but in order to satisfy his curiosity and maintain his reputation, he had to continue to wait patiently, even though he felt that time was passing too slowly and the days were like years. 5 days later, his unreliable master finally surfaced. Seeing Feifei was still waiting for him, he couldn't help but said with great relief, "Good boy, you really keep your promise. Not bad, it's worthy for me to teach you." After saying that, the big turtle thought for a while and asked again, "Well, by the way, master, I left in a hurry last time because of something, and forgot to ask your name. Now tell me your name." Feifei responded, "My name is Gao Fei, master, you can call me Gao Fei from now on." The old giant turtle talked freely, "Well, Gao Fei, actually, your master is a relatively rare special giant turtle named Camel Dragon Turtle, and your nickname is Peacemaker. This time, your master hurried down to mediate the increasingly fierce conflict between two underwater giants, the Megalodon and the Black Turtle Dragon. Due to the complicated reasons for the conflict, your master's return was delayed. I'm sorry to have made my good disciple wait for a few more days. Next time, I guess I won't do that." No mistakes in the poem, post, content, and book. Go to the 6ix9ine forum to take a look. Feifei was afraid that the camel dragon turtle would keep nagging, so he asked impatiently, "Master, when are you going to teach me the skill?" The camel dragon turtle thought for a moment and said, "It is very difficult for you to learn my skill of sinking to below 2,000 meters. You must first eat dozens of kinds of food, which are not easy to get. Some are hundreds of meters under the water, some are 1,000 meters under the water, some are even below 2,000 meters under the water, some are on land, and some are even on the top of the mountains. The things on the mountains are the most difficult for us turtles to get. This part mainly depends on you, because if I, the master, go to the mountains to look for them, it would be too unrealistic. First, my body is too big. If I go ashore to the deep mountains and forests, it will inevitably cause a lot of commotion and trouble. Second, I am too old and don't have that much energy, and I am not used to the lack of oxygen in the mountains." Chapter 429 Difficulties and Obstacles. After a pause, the camel dragon turtle said, "Everything is difficult at the beginning. Now let's start from the simplest place. I will go to find some things around here. These are the most basic things needed for practicing kung fu." Then, the camel dragon turtle glanced at Feifei and said, "Good disciple, follow the master. The master will find some very interesting food for you to eat." As soon as the voice fell, it turned and swam to the milk rock group on the left. Feifei hurriedly followed. Not long after, the camel dragon turtle and Feifei found that a sturgeon was lurking in a milk rock cave in front of them. This guy was lying in ambush here, and 9 out of 10 he planned to ambush the small fish and shrimps and other vulnerable creatures swimming by here. The camel dragon turtle turned around and whispered to Feifei beside him, "Disciple, you go to the left side of this sturgeon to ambush first, and I, the master, will ambush it on the right side. Later, when this guy sneak attacks the passing fish and shrimp, you must immediately attack and bite its tail, and the master will immediately rush up and bite its head. With two sides attacking, this guy will be doomed." Feifei asked in a low voice with some confusion, "Master, why do we have to go to such lengths to deal with this sturgeon? It's just a normal hunting activity." The camel dragon turtle looked at Feifei dissatisfied and said, "Nonsense, we need this guy to be the first dish for your practice now. Do you think we cannot do this?" Feifei suddenly realized, "So that's it. I know." As soon as the voice fell, he went around to the left and quietly lurked at the designated position. At the same time, the camel dragon turtle also went around to the other side. Because of his huge body, the circle he made was much larger than Feifei's, and soon he was also lurking on the right side. Time passed by minute, but the turtle was still able to bear the loneliness. It was unknown how long it had waited. Suddenly, a group of half-foot-long black fish swam over from a distance. When the group of black fish swam past a place where the sturgeon was ambushing, the impatient sturgeon suddenly rushed out of the milk rock cave and pounced on the group of black fish that were swaggering and had no vigilance. At this time, the camel dragon turtle and Feifei almost simultaneously launched a surprise attack on the sturgeon, one biting the head and the other biting the tail. They cooperated tacitly and just right, and captured the sturgeon in one fell swoop. This is called the mantis preys on the oriole behind. After the camel dragon turtle bit the head of the sturgeon, it broke the sturgeon's head in a few bites, and then shared the fish body with Feifei. The camel dragon turtle ate the harder parts such as the back of the fish, while Feifei ate the softer parts such as the tail and belly of the fish. This was mainly because the camel dragon turtle was large in size and had large and hard teeth, while Feifei was small in size and had relatively small and not sharp teeth. After this, whenever they hunted together, they would share the food in this way. Master eats the hard food, disciple eats the soft food. The master and disciple also hunted large lobsters, large crabs, various unknown fish and oysters, and even hunted their own kind, large underwater turtles. In addition, they also looked for some special milky rock powder to eat, and sometimes went ashore to find white soft mud to eat. Sometimes the camel dragon turtle sank to the bottom of the water 1,000 meters below to hunt various strange big fish and pull them up to eat. In short, in order to practice this great ability to sink to the bottom of the water 1,000 meters below, they had to eat all kinds of strange things in advance. Finally, the food they needed to eat was the roots of several kinds of herbal plants growing on the high mountains, which required Feifei to find and eat alone. The camel dragon turtle only told them the colors and shapes of these things, and could not help with anything else. That day, Feifei climbed out of the water and onto the lakeshore early. In order to find the urgently needed medicinal herbs, he had to embark on a long journey to the mountains. Since turtles move very slowly, this round trip might take at least a year and a half, or as much as 2 or 3 years. However, in order to realize his dream of visiting the underwater world 2,000 meters deep, Feifei had to do this. On the way back and forth, he didn't know how many difficulties and obstacles he would encounter, but he had no regrets. As the saying goes, the more you get, the more you pay. Not long after he landed, when he passed a meadow, he encountered an unreasonable cobra blocking his way. The cobra proudly raised its front body, stared at Feifei with its snake eyes without blinking, and demanded arrogantly, "Where did you come from, you big turtle, and where are you going? Why do you want to come to my territory?" Feifei was shocked when he heard it, raised his head, and said with a smile on his face, "Hello. It turns out to be Brother Cobra. This is the case. This turtle wants to go to the front to collect herbs, and happens to pass through the land under your jurisdiction. Please give me a favor and let me pass." The cobra said disapprovingly, "Why do I have to let you pass through my land just because you want to go to get the herbs? Is that reasonable?" Huh? Feifei didn't expect the cobra to be so unreasonable. He frowned and thought for a while, then said, "What do you want me to do? Should I go around in a big circle or go back home?" The cobra also thought for a while, and said, "You, a coward, really give me a headache. Although you are not dangerous to me, and your meat is not delicious, I can't let you go so easily. I have to make you pay a price. What should I do?" "Well, that's right, let's do it this way. You lie down on the ground right now and let me crawl over your back to see what it feels like." Did you hear me? When Feifei heard that this was the case, he said with relief, "I heard it, no problem. I'll lie down right now and let you crawl over my back." As soon as he finished speaking, he laid down on the ground honestly, thinking, "Isn't this just letting me taste the humiliation under the crotch? I can still bear this little grievance." When the cobra saw that the big turtle was so obedient, it couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Ha ha, ha ha. That's good enough. You can only pass if you satisfy me. Do you understand?" After that, it moved its body and climbed over Feifei's back. It was not enough to climb over once, so it climbed back and forth many times until it got tired of it. Then it stopped and let Feifei pass. Feifei could do nothing about it. He knew that to accomplish a big thing, he had to endure many hardships. He didn't take this little thing seriously at all. What Feifei never expected was that there were bigger troubles and even disasters waiting for him. When he was walking through the wild boar forest, the playful and unreasonable wild boars actually used Feifei as a ball to push and kick him. They played from noon to sunset. Feifei had already been kicked unconscious by them. The wild boars ended this boring game, which hurt Feifei badly. Feifei didn't wake up until noon the next day. Although Feifei was protected by his tortoise shell and didn't seem to be hurt, he was kicked and pushed by the wild boars and was forced to roll and shake constantly. He was so frightened and tired that he fainted. In fact, he also wanted to take the opportunity to have a good sleep. Chapter 430, Black Bear Threat. This morning, the sky was clear and the light was bright. Feifei was full of energy and felt relaxed and happy, but when he passed a wild cornfield, he happened to meet a big black bear that was eating corn. He wanted to hide, but it was too late because he had been discovered by the big black bear. Since he could not avoid the encounter with the big black bear, he had to face it bravely. This is called if it is a blessing, it is not a disaster. If it is a disaster, it is inevitable. Anyway, if you stick your head out, you will be cut by a knife. You can't be a turtle forever, Feifei thought. Thinking of this, Feifei no longer hid, and crawled towards the big black bear openly, and even boldly greeted him in bear language, saying, "Hello, brother black bear. What are you doing?" The big black bear looked at the big turtle crawling towards him and actually spoke to him in bear language. He was so surprised that his eyes were wide open. You, who are you? How can you speak the language of our black bear tribe?" Seeing the black bear's silly look, Feifei couldn't help laughing. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. Interesting, brother black bear, this is because I have a long life, so I am naturally knowledgeable and know many kinds of animals, and thus I have learned the languages of many animals, including those flying in the sky, crawling on the ground and swimming in the water. The big black bear asked in great confusion. In this case, you should be very old, but why do you still call me brother? I'm only 12 years old now. Feifei smiled and said, I said this because I want to narrow the distance between us. It is also a humble statement. Haven't you heard of the term friendship without regard for age? Even if we are several or even more than 10 generations apart, we can still address each other as peers. This is conducive to equal communication. The big black bear suddenly realized, is this really possible? You are really knowledgeable. I have learned a lot from communicating with you. Feifei thought to himself, little guy, how can you, an ordinary animal, compare with me, an animal with a high IQ like humans? The big black bear tilted his head and thought for a long time, then asked a little embarrassedly, Brother Turtle, can I call you that? Feifei smiled and said, Brother Black Bear, it doesn't matter what you call me. I think you must have some difficult questions you want to ask me now. Then just ask boldly. No matter what you ask, I will try my best to answer you, the big black bear immediately said with a sense of relief. Then I'll ask, Brother Turtle, how long do you think I will live in the future? Will I be as long-lived as you? Feifei didn't know how to answer the big black bear's childish and cute question, so he said ambiguously, your question is very interesting, but I'm not a god, how would I know? But you can refer to how many years the longest-lived black bear among you lived, and you will probably know how old you can live at most. Hearing what Feifei said, the big black bear had to admit, but the longest-lived black bear among us is far less long-lived than you turtles. Seeing this, Feifei had to admit honestly, indeed, you are right. This is because our turtles and your black bears are of different species. Unexpectedly, the big black bear suddenly said something that almost scared Feifei to death. The black bear said, if I eat you, a long-lived guy, now, can I live a long life? Feifei immediately shouted, how can that be possible? I have never heard that eating our turtles can prolong life. Unexpectedly, the big black bear said confidently, isn't there a saying that you are what you eat? Eating a long-lived creature like you should help you live longer. How about I give it a try? Feifei was anxious when he heard it. How can I try this? If you try, I will die, right? Brother Black Bear, think about it carefully. Over the years, if eating our turtles can prolong life, black bears would have tried it long ago, and would never wait until now for you to try it. Do you think everyone is a fool, and you are the smartest in the world? Unexpectedly, the big black bear tilted his head and thought for a while, then said, maybe I just happen to become the smartest person in the world, just like I just happened to meet you. Feifei couldn't help but smile bitterly and said, you are not so conceited, are you? This is unreasonable. Think about it, even if it is not you black bears, you and I have never heard of any other animals that can live longer by eating turtles. Unexpectedly, the big black bear refuted again, who knows? Maybe some animals live longer after eating your turtles, because even they themselves have forgotten it long ago. It seems that this big black bear is determined to find a reason to eat himself in order to live longer. What should I do? Feifei couldn't help but calm down and think carefully about countermeasures. After a while, an idea suddenly flashed in his mind, and Feifei said calmly, Brother Black Bear, so, are you determined to eat me? The big black bear blinked cunningly and said, you can't say that. In fact, I just want to try eating a turtle to see if I can live longer. Hearing this, Feifei said, since I have no grudge against you, and you don't have to eat me, You might as well go find a small turtle to eat. Older turtles like me have rough skin and old flesh, and are full of bones. There is nothing to eat. A small turtle, or even a small tortoise, is much more delicious than the meat on my body. The meat is fresh, tender and delicious. Why don't you go find a small turtle or a small tortoise to try?" When the big black bear heard this, he thought Feifei was reasonable, so he asked, "But where can I find a small turtle or a small tortoise?" Feifei was secretly delighted and said quickly, "That's easy to do. I'll take you to find it now." When the big black bear heard Feifei agreed to find a small turtle or tortoise to eat, he was overjoyed and nodded to follow Feifei to find it. Feifei suddenly had an idea and asked, "Do you know where the nearest river, lake or pool is?" Generally, turtles and tortoises like to live in water. Where there's more water, there are more turtles and tortoises. The big black bear thought about it seriously and said, "I know there is a deep pool about 7 or 8 miles southeast of here. I guess there should be a lot of turtles and tortoises there. I'll take you there now." After that, he happily led Feifei to the southeast. Not long after, the big black bear brought Feifei to a large pond with a spring waterfall. Feifei looked at the pond with great joy in his heart, but said to the black bear calmly, "I guess there are quite a few turtles and tortoises in here, and there must be some delicious young turtles and small turtles among them. How about I go down into the water and catch 1 or 2 for my brother black bear to taste?" Feifei's words made the big black bear drool, and he immediately agreed without thinking to let Feifei go down to the pond to catch small turtles or turtles. Chapter 431, Deceiving the Monkey King. So, Feifei pretended to serve the big black bear, swaggered towards the pool, and slowly dived into the water. After a long time, the big black bear waited from morning until the sun set in the evening, but did not see Feifei float to the surface of the water. He could not help but get annoyed and depressed, and walked around the pool, anxiously turning around. Obviously, this was Feifei's plan to escape. In order to get rid of the threat and entanglement of the black bear, Feifei spent a lot of time and effort. Of course, he would not easily emerge from the bottom of the water and be threatened by the big black bear again. Now, he is hunting small fish and shrimps at the bottom of the water to fill his stomach, and then have a good sleep. When he is fully prepared, he will take the opportunity to slip out of the water and escape. The big black bear slept in the pool that night. The next day, in the afternoon, he still didn't see Feifei come out of the water. He thought Feifei was eaten by the monster in the water and died. In addition, he was now starving, so he had to look back every 3 steps and reluctantly left the pool to find food elsewhere. 2 days later, in the middle of the night, Feifei quietly surfaced from the opposite bank far away from the water. He first swam slowly along the water's edge, about 4 or 5 meters away, but his eyes looked far away at the shore, carefully observing. When he was sure that the shore was safe, he quietly climbed ashore and continued his new journey. A few days later, when passing through a primeval forest occupied by black leaf monkeys, Feifei encountered a greater challenge. A group of black leaf monkeys who were swinging on the tree and eating wild fruits soon discovered Feifei, the uninvited guest. They were very shocked and curious about the big turtle that suddenly appeared under the tree. Immediately, a dozen naughty and active monkeys jumped down from the tree and circled around Feifei, the big turtle, gesticulating and talking about it. Some even started to touch Feifei. At this time, a black leaf monkey with a crooked appearance suddenly got an inspiration and said to the monkeys, "Why don't we all carry this big turtle to our king and let the king deal with it? What do you think?" As soon as the voice fell, everyone shouted in unison, "Good." Then, the black leaf monkeys carried Feifei to their monkey king as if to show off their merits, and presented Feifei to the monkey king as their trophy, which opened the monkey king's eyes and made him very excited, but made Feifei laugh and cry and very depressed. Feifei thought, "How can I get rid of these monkeys and go to the mountains to collect herbs? It seems that I can only wait and see." But just when Feifei was thinking about it, the crooked melon and cracked date monkey suddenly suggested to the monkey king, "My king, why don't we kill this big turtle and eat it?" Feifei was frightened when he heard it, and quickly retracted his head and limbs into the turtle shell, not daring to come out again. Many black leaf monkeys were amazed upon seeing this and told the monkey king about it. The monkey king complained to Wagwalizao as soon as he saw it, "Look at your bad idea. You scared them so much that they retreated into their turtle shells and became real turtles. How can we eat the meat inside such a hard turtle shell?" Wagwalizao came up with another plan, "My king, why don't we lift up this big turtle and throw it hard to the ground? If we throw it a few more times, we can crack the hard turtle shell and then eat the turtle meat inside the turtle shell, right? The Black Leaf Monkey King thought the idea seemed good, so he nodded and said to the monkeys around him, then you can try what he said just now. So the Black Leaf Monkeys rushed forward, lifted Feifei up with all their hands and feet, and came to the hard ground, lifted him high, and threw him to the ground again and again, but to no avail. They repeated it dozens or hundreds of times, but to no avail. At this time, a Black Leaf Monkey stood up and said that they would carry Feifei to the top of the mountain and push Feifei off the cliff to kill him. Feifei had to speak out at this point. Hey, you must not do this. If the turtle is killed, its meat will not be tasty. Wow. This is unbelievable. This big turtle can actually speak the language of Black Leaf Monkeys. It's really a monster. Report this to the king immediately, the monkeys shouted. Among them, a white-browed Black Leaf Monkey glared at Feifei fiercely and said, although you can speak our language, we still won't let you go. Don't tell us the nonsense that meat that has been killed is not delicious. Sometimes we even dare to eat rotten animal meat, so we don't care about the meat of a dead turtle. Feifei was quick-witted and said, I won't argue with you now. I want to talk to your king. Tell him quickly that I know there is a treasure in this world that can make your monkey group prosperous and dominate the entire Black Leaf Monkey world. Do you really know that there is such a treasure in this world? The white-browed Black Leaf Monkey asked in surprise and doubt. Where is it? How did you know? Of course I know this, Feifei said affirmatively, but I won't tell you now. I will tell your king in person. I solemnly warn you, if you dare to deceive our king, you will be dead. Humph, the white-browed Black Leaf Monkey threatened fiercely, and then said to a monkey next to him, go and report to the king. This big turtle said that it has important news to report to the king. Soon, the Monkey King sent the monkey back and said, carry Feifei back. He wants to question him in person. Feifei was brought to the Monkey King. The Monkey King stared at Feifei to see if he had anything else to say. Feifei slowly stuck her head out of her tortoise shell, looked into the Monkey King's eyes, and said with a smile, are you very curious about what I'm talking about? The Monkey King stared at Feifei fiercely and said, tell me everything you know, and don't lie. Otherwise, you know the consequences will be very serious. Feifei sighed deeply and said, of course I am telling the truth. I know very well that deceiving you will do me no good, the Monkey King said impatiently, then just say what you want to say and stop wasting time. Okay, I'll tell you now. After a pause, Feifei continued, Your Majesty, you should know very well that if you want your monkey family to prosper and multiply from generation to generation, you must increase the lifespan of each member, especially your Majesty. Only by greatly extending your lifespan can your monkey group prosper and be long-lasting. This is also complimentary. Tell me, am I right? The Monkey King heard this and immediately turned from anger to joy. Yes, you are absolutely right. Tell me, how can I be healthy and live a long life? Feifei thought for a moment and said, I know a kind of superb elixir that can greatly extend the lifespan of animals. It grows on the top of high mountains, and you Black Leaf Monkeys are the most suitable group to collect this elixir, so I specifically asked you to cooperate. Everyone thinks that we turtles are born with longevity, but in fact, we turtles are born knowing what elixir to collect to nourish our bodies and extend our lives. In this regard, we turtles are the smartest of all animals. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432, Top Grade Immortal Medicine. Feifei's statement seems reasonable, but it actually has a big flaw. The Monkey King thought about it carefully and asked half doubtfully, so, the reason why you turtles live long is because you eat this elixir? Then how did you climb to the top of the snowy mountain to collect that elixir? Feifei started to talk nonsense. We turtles usually send old men who can speak eagles to cooperate with eagles and let them collect this elixir. The Monkey King asked again with doubt. According to what you said, eagles will also eat this elixir, but why haven't I heard that eagles can live long? Feifei hurriedly explained, this is because after eating this elixir, you can't do large-scale exercise, you have to rest and rest, otherwise it will be transformed into a huge amount of heat energy and evaporated. The eagle is too active, so it didn't take long before this precious elixir was squandered as heat energy, and it was not transformed into a tonic that can prolong its life. It's really a pity, The Monkey King saw that Feifei's far-fetched statement seemed to make sense, and he had a strong desire to prolong his life, so he no longer doubted it. With a mentality of better to believe it than not to believe it, he asked impatiently, "Then how can we collect this elixir? Do you know the language of eagles and eagles?" Feifei's eyes rolled and said, "Hey. Although I learned a few daily eagle and eagle expressions from our old turtle by chance, it's a pity that it's too little and not enough. I still need to find eagles and eagles to talk to and practice more. However, eagles are rarely seen near the lake where we live, so I plan to go to the primeval forest and the mountains to find eagles and eagles to talk to. Unexpectedly, I passed by your territory after so much hardship, and was discovered by your men and captured here. After you ordered to throw me to death and eat my meat, I had to tell you the story in order to save my life." Seeing Feifei's explanation becoming more and more complete, the Monkey King was more convinced, so he said, "I think if we go through our forest and walk a few hundred miles up, we should be able to see the top of the snow mountain. Do you really need a golden eagle to pick herbs for you? In fact, we monkeys can do it for you." After thinking for a while, Feifei said, "It's not that I don't believe you, it's just that the top of the snow mountain is too dangerous. Not only is it extremely cold, but there are also strong winds and the danger of avalanches at any time. Climbing to the top of the snow mountain is a life-threatening situation." The Monkey King's eyes lit up, and he said with determination, "I can let the bravest and strongest men in our monkey group form an expedition team, which may succeed. If it doesn't work, I can use your method to find your eagle. Do you think this will work?" When Feifei saw that the Monkey King had fallen into the trap, he couldn't help but be overjoyed and said, "Of course, the Monkey King's decision is very wise. We must give it a try. Maybe if we are lucky, there will be neither howling winds nor avalanches when our warriors are climbing the snow-capped mountains. That would be great. What's more, I suspect that this kind of elixir may not grow on the top of the snow-capped mountains. It may be halfway up the mountain or at the foot of the snow-capped mountains. We may find some. Would that be even better?" After hearing Feifei's analysis, the Monkey King could no longer suppress his excitement and couldn't wait to take action immediately. Seeing this, Feifei hurriedly calmed the Monkey King and said, "Don't rush into this matter. There is no need to select young, strong, loyal and reliable men to go. The number does not need to be too large, no more than 10 team members at most. The most needed are those with endurance and the ability to endure hardships. My king, just go and look for it according to what I said. In addition, you must prepare some dried meat and dried vegetables as dry food in case of emergency. One more thing, I have to go there in person, because only I can identify the real elixir." The Monkey King became anxious when he heard it. "Then can I go too?" Seeing this, Feifei hurriedly comforted him, "My king, you don't have to go. First, your tribe still cannot do without you. If you leave here and accudate tickers here, other monkeys with ulterior motives will take the opportunity to usurp the throne, which will be troublesome. Second, your body is not as strong as the young ones. If you get sick on the way, it will also be bad." After hearing what Feifei said, the Monkey King immediately became anxious and asked with a bit of jealousy, "Then how can you go too?" The implication was that since you're such an old turtle, aren't you afraid of getting sick on the way? Feifei naturally understood what the Monkey King meant and calmly explained, "We turtles rarely get sick. We are not only the longest-lived animals in the animal kingdom, but also the healthiest animals in the animal kingdom." At this point, the Monkey King had to envy and hate Feifei. Not long after, the Monkey King carefully selected the strongest and most loyal black-leaf monkeys from his monkey tribe to form a Snow Mountain Herb Collection Expedition Team training camp, with a total of 20 monkeys. Feifei would also conduct intensive training for them for 20 days, and finally select 10 winners from them to form the final Snow Mountain Herb Collection Expedition Team, and the one with the best training results would become the captain of this expedition team. Feifei took out the method that Honkser used to train the wild dog fighting team and the fox rangers, and added some new content based on his understanding of the snowy plateau. The most important of these was the training of cold resistance, hunger resistance, and endurance. A very strange scene appeared. A big turtle was placed on a high rock, yelling and training a group of black-leaf monkeys running and jumping around. 20 days passed quickly. The last day finally arrived. Feifei passed the assessment in the past 2 days and finally selected 10 winners to form the Snow Mountain Herb Collection Expedition Team. The strongest one in the assessment was a black-leaf monkey named Menghulu. Naturally, Menghulu was finally designated by Feifei as the captain of this expedition team. In fact, the superb elixir that Feifei mentioned is purer and more flawless than snow lotus, more magical and amazing than saffron, and more effective than cordyceps. In order to facilitate the march, Feifei's big turtle was handed over to the two strongest black leaf monkeys to carry in turn, and tied to the monkey's back with a strong vine. Led by the captain Menghulu, the expedition team passed through the big trees in the forest by swinging. No mistake, one song, one post, one content, one six, one book, one bar. In this way, they walked 500 to 600 kilometers in 2 or 3 days, and came to the foot of the high snow mountain, and the difficult mountain climbing journey really began. Going up all the way, the higher they went, the thinner the air became, and the more difficult it was to breathe. Half of them fainted before they reached the halfway point of the mountain, and the remaining half was not much better, shivering all over. Although they were covered with wild animal furs beforehand, they still felt a biting cold. The most fatal thing was of course the difficulty in breathing and the severe lack of oxygen. Seeing this scene, Feifei knew, this is the end. If they don't retreat, the whole army will be wiped out soon. Chapter 433, Ambush. As a last resort, Feifei had to discuss the retreat with the expedition leader, Menghulu. At this time, Menghulu looked up at the top of the snow-capped mountain, frowned, and after weighing the pros and cons, he nodded and agreed to retreat. On the way down the mountain, Menghulu tried to wake up the team members who fainted on the ground, and then helped them down the mountain. As for those who could not be woken up, they had to give up and let them fend for themselves. According to this method, the expedition team only woke up 2 members, and 3 monkeys were abandoned forever on the halfway up the snow-capped mountain. In the evening, when the remaining 7 black leaf monkeys brought Feifei to the foot of the mountain, everyone was exhausted and fell asleep after eating some dry food. Feifei, who was carried on the back of a stronger monkey, could not fall asleep. He kept thinking, what should I do? Should I continue to hang out with this group of ambitious but incompetent monkeys, or take the opportunity to escape and find another way to collect herbs? No, we haven't searched the foot of the snowy mountain, nor have we searched on the mountainside. Let's start tomorrow and look carefully at the foot of the mountain. Thinking of this, Feifei fell asleep peacefully and fell into a deep dream. In the morning, when she woke up, Feifei told Menghulu about her idea last night, asking him not to give up halfway, but to search around the foot of the mountain for dozens of kilometers, and who knows if he will find anything. Menghulu also thought Feifei's plan was reasonable, so he agreed and asked the expedition team to continue carrying Feifei and start searching at the foot of the snowy mountain. After 2 days of nothing, on the 3rd day, when the sun was setting, it seemed like another day of wasted work. Suddenly, one of the expedition members had a sharp eye and pointed to a bush of wildflowers 100 meters away and said, "Look, what is that?" As soon as he finished speaking, everyone looked in the direction of his finger. Sure enough, there seemed to be the top-quality fairy grass that Feifei had said. There was a patch of flowers and grass that met the appearance characteristics of fairy grass, so everyone hurried over and looked at it carefully. They didn't know whether it was the top-quality fairy grass, so they had to ask Feifei to chew it a few times and taste it to see if it was the top-quality fairy grass. Feifei chewed it a few times and felt sweet and spicy. Then he swallowed it. After a while, he felt hot all over and a warm current spread throughout his body. He thought, could this be the legendary top-quality fairy grass? It's just a herb that generates heat and keeps warm. Alice, I don't know if this kind of flowers and grass is the kind of herb I really need. So, Feifei said to Menghulu, I don't know if it's true or not. This is the first time I've eaten this kind of herb. I just felt my whole body was hot after eating it. Let's collect it as the real fairy grass for the time being, and replace it with a fairy grass with better effect in the future. Menghulu thought Feifei's words were very reasonable, so he asked everyone to collect the fairy grass quickly. Finally, they got something, and everyone couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and smile. When returning to the temporary campsite, a dense forest, everyone was talking and laughing, and seemed very happy. Only Menghulu always had that kind of serious expression. Feifei saw that this guy's eyes were always rolling around on the way back to the camp, and he looked absent-minded. He kept muttering in his heart, although this guy is a Menghulu and not good at speaking, he is actually very cunning. I'm afraid he has a lot of tricks in his stomach. In the future, we must be extra careful with him and can't tell him everything in our hearts. Who knows if you will have the idea of this fairy grass in the future. Now it seems a bit uncertain. In the next few days, Feifei and other expedition members, including Menhulu, did not find the so-called top-quality fairy grass near the foot of the snow-capped mountains. They had to slowly circle the snow-capped mountains and search carefully. A few days later, they found a better quality top-quality fairy grass. After tasting it, Feifei felt that it was even more effective. He vaguely felt that this might be the kind of herbal medicine he was looking for. Of course, it was not the so-called elixir that could prolong life, but a special medicine that could increase muscle resistance and help him sink to 2,000 meters under the water. However, Feifei was now on land and on the snow-capped mountains, not 1,000 meters under the water, so he could not verify its effect. The only feeling was that after eating some of this herb, even on the mountainside of the snow-capped mountains, he did not feel the slightest bit of cold, while the black leaf monkeys around him who did not eat this herb were all frozen to the point of purple lips, black faces, and shivering all over. Seeing that everyone really couldn't stand it, Menhulu had to order the team to return to the camp. On the way back to the camp, Feifei kept thinking, although a lot of immortal herbs have been collected this time, it is still far from enough. Moreover, these monkeys will not give them to themselves, but will offer these herbs to the Monkey King as a panacea for immortality, and may even cross the river and destroy the bridge and wait for an opportunity to kill themselves. What should I do? At this time, Menhulu was also constantly making his own calculations. Now the immortal elixir that the old Monkey King is looking forward to has been collected almost, and our dry food is almost exhausted, and it is time to return to the court. But, should we go back like this? Once the old guy eats this kind of immortal herbs, he will really be immortal, and then I will never be able to make a breakthrough. No matter what, they can't take these precious immortal herbs back to the monkey tribe. We have to find a way to stop them from doing so. It turns out that the dumb guy looks diligent, serious, and taciturn. He behaves very submissively in front of the Monkey King, but it's all for show. In fact, this guy is very cunning and has always been ambitious. He has always wanted to use conspiracy and trickery to seize the throne of the Monkey King. This time, in the Snow Mountain Herb Collection Expedition Team Training and Selection Competition, he performed very hard and finally won the first place with his strong strength and won the position of captain of this expedition team. From then on, he planned to make good use of this special position of captain to seek his own maximum interests. Seeing that his task of leading the team to collect herbs is about to be completed, there are two ways for him to choose. The first way is to lead the team back honestly and continue to be a loyal subordinate of the Monkey King. The second way is to snatch the fairy grass, take it yourself, strengthen your body again, and go back to seize the position of the Monkey King at the right time. No mistakes, one post, one content, 1/6, one book, one bar, one look. Now the more he thought about it, the more he felt that he should take the second path. He was obsessed with money and could not extricate himself. But just when the silent man was determined to rebel, Feifei suddenly said to him, "I say, Captain, although we have collected a lot of magic herbs this time, it is far from enough. If you want to prolong life or even immortality, this little herb is definitely not enough. It requires many treatments, and other herbs must be added to make herbal formulas, and the method of boiling water is required. You still need my guidance for these practices, and you can't leave me now." Chapter 434, Alpine Snow Leopard. The old turtle heard this. He was very anxious and thought, "You coward, are you deliberately messing with me? I just decided to snatch the magic grass and run away, but you did this to me. Isn't this going to kill me?" However, the old turtle may have some truth in what he said. The elixir of immortality is not so easy to get. Maybe it is hard to say whether the process he said is really necessary. After all, he told us to collect this magic grass. As for how to make the elixir that can prolong life, only he has the final say, and we have to listen to him. Now I have to endure it for a while, and make plans according to the circumstances in the future. Seeing that the silent man remained silent, Feifei thought that he had agreed, so he said, "I have just eaten some of the fairy grass I collected today, and found that it has a particularly good effect. It can keep out the cold. As long as you eat a little fairy grass, you will not be afraid of the cold when climbing the snowy mountains." After a pause, Feifei continued, "So, I think we all go back to the camp to rest for 2 days, and everyone can hunt some food in the woods and eat and drink enough. Then, the troops will be divided into 2 groups. I will lead one group to find other necessary medicines and supplement supplies in the forest, and the other group will be led by you, the captain, to the hillside of the snowy mountain to find more fairy grass. Before leaving, everyone must eat some fairy grass to keep out the cold. What do you think of my arrangement? The silent man lowered his head and thought seriously. He felt that there was no better way, so he nodded in agreement. In this way, Feifei began to gradually control the expedition team in his own hands, forcing everyone to obey his arrangements. After 2 days of rest and replenishment, the Snow Mountain Herb Collection expedition team began to split into 2 groups. One group was led by Feifei, who was responsible for commanding 4 expedition members to find some heat-clearing and anti-inflammatory herbs and other common herbal medicines in the forest and hunt some wild animals in the forest to replenish supplies. At dusk that afternoon, an extremely tired and embarrassed expedition member suddenly ran down the mountain. He ran to everyone breathlessly and said, "It's bad. We finally found a place full of fairy herbs on the mountain. When we were desperately collecting fairy herbs, a big snow leopard suddenly emerged from the snow mountain and pounced on us. We were so scared that we turned around and ran away. My companion reacted slowly and was bitten to death by the big snow leopard on the spot. Our captain, Mute, was so frightened that he didn't know where to go. He stepped into the air and rolled down the snow mountain. We don't know whether he is dead or alive." This sudden news was like a huge thunder, which suddenly struck down, and everyone was stunned. They were all stunned, looking at each other, at a loss. Feifei was also caught off guard by this. At this time, his mind was churning like boiling porridge. All kinds of ideas popped up, but none of them were very sure to implement them. But just when everyone was at a loss, suddenly a sharp-eyed team member pointed in the distance and shouted in horror, "Everyone, look, what is that thing? It is moving towards us quickly." The team member who reported the news immediately turned around to see. After a look, his face turned pale and he said incoherently, "No, no, no, it's bad. This is the demon snow leopard that bit my companion to death. Everyone, run. If you don't run, it will be too late." As soon as the voice fell, he turned around and ran into the forest again. Everyone followed the monkey who went up the mountain to collect herbs and ran towards the forest. Unexpectedly, the black leaf monkey carrying Feifei ran at the end because of the heavy burden of Feifei. He was so flustered that he didn't pay attention to a small pit under his feet. He fell to the ground with a thump and couldn't get up for a long time. At this time, the ferocious snow leopard caught up with the unfortunate black leaf monkey and bit off the back of its neck. The poor black leaf monkey lost his life in a confused manner. Next, the snow leopard wanted to repeat the old trick and bite off Feifei's neck again. Feifei was shocked when he saw this. He quickly retracted his head and limbs into his turtle shell and became a turtle again. "Oh, you know how to hide. It seems that you, a turtle, are not too stupid," the snow leopard said to himself. However, Feifei, who had already retreated into his tortoise shell, said in a muffled voice in the snow leopard language, "If I don't hide, I will end up like this black leaf monkey. Do you think I don't know your greed? You want to eat monkey meat and taste tortoise meat at the same time? Wow! I didn't expect that you, an old tortoise, are so smart and can speak the language of our snow leopard tribe. You are really amazing. I really admire you," the big snow leopard praised sincerely. "In that case, why don't we make friends? Besides, the meat on my old tortoise is old, hard and smelly, and it's all bones. There's not much meat and nothing to chew. It tastes tasteless and may even dirty your mouth. What do you think?" Feifei said in a persuasive manner. "I think you are cunning and treacherous." "Do you think I don't know what you are thinking?" the big snow leopard said incisively. After a pause, he changed the subject and said, "However, what you said seems to be a trick, but I still find that it makes sense. If I want to eat turtles, it is better to eat small turtles. After all, the meat of small turtles is more tender. Since I don't plan to eat you, making friends with you may not be a bad thing. Well, I will do as you wish and associate with you for a while, and we can be chat friends when we have nothing to do." Feifei was about to speak, but the big snow leopard said first, "You old turtle, shut up first, let me finish eating this monkey first." As soon as the voice fell, he tore into the body of the black leaf monkey without any scruples, and devoured it, not caring about the feelings of his friend Feifei at all. Since Feifei is a tortoise and cannot move around easily, the monkeys that have already fled into the forest are definitely unreliable. So he has to find a new partner. Since the big snow leopard has come to his door, why not take advantage of it? This is the real reason why Feifei wants to make friends with a big snow leopard. Not long after, the big snow leopard was full and used its front paws to wipe its mouth, just as if it had washed its face. At this time, Feifei said, "My snow leopard friend, you should have finished your meal now. Then I ask you a question. Are you satisfied with your current life?" The big snow leopard was stunned, thought about it, and said, "It's okay. Anyway, I'm full, and my family won't be hungry." Seeing that the snow leopard didn't answer the question, Feifei had to ask again, "Then what else do you pursue, or what lofty ideals do you have?" No mistakes in one post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum. The big snow leopard was stunned again, then shook his head and thought carefully, and said, "Life is so hard for us snow leopards. How can we have any big ideals and ambitions? As long as we can have enough food and drink every day and have a warm nest, we will be satisfied. Do you think I will have a better life?" Hearing what the big snow leopard said, Feifei felt relieved. Chapter 435, A Plan Comes to Mind. Feifei pretended to be mysterious and said, "I know there is a very wonderful herb on this snowy mountain. After eating it, you can be full of strength and no longer afraid of the cold. Just sleep in a sheltered place at night and you will fall into a sweet dream. I wonder if you have heard of it." The big snow leopard was shocked and asked, "Where can I find this herb?" "Take me to find it." "Of course I want to take you to find this herb. After all, helping a friend is like helping yourself," Feifei said casually, "but I am a tortoise. I walk too slowly and can't accompany you to find it. What do you think we should do? Then I will carry you on my back." "No, I will carry you in my mouth," the big snow leopard suggested. "But a tortoise as big as me is very heavy. Can you carry me on such a long mountain road?" Feifei asked worriedly. "That's easy. I can walk a distance, put you down to rest, carry you for another distance, put you down to rest, repeat this process, and I can take you to the place where the herb grows," the big snow leopard said very smartly. "Ah, you are so smart, I didn't expect it." Feifei pretended to be surprised and said, "I really admire you, so what are you waiting for? Just do as you say." "That's right. I will start climbing the mountain with you in my mouth," the big snow leopard couldn't help but say with joy. I didn't expect that the big snow leopard could climb the mountain very fast with Feifei, such a big and heavy turtle in its mouth, almost like walking on flat ground. This is the most basic skill of the snow leopard who lives in the mountains every day. In this way, when he is tired, he will rest for a while, and then continue to carry Feifei to climb up or walk to the side of the mountain. In short, he will go to where there are more flowers and plants. Soon, Feifei found the superb fairy grass he was looking for, but he said to the big snow leopard calmly, "I think there may be the kind of herbs we need here, but they don't look like it. Some of them may be poisonous and have side effects. I have to go down to take a closer look, smell and taste them. Put me down first and wait for me here." As soon as he finished speaking, the snow leopard put Feifei on the ground, and Feifei crawled into the flowers and plants, and began to look, smell, and taste the superb fairy grass he liked. However, it didn't take long for the snow leopard to find that there was something wrong with Feifei's approach. "Didn't you say you wanted to taste the herbs? Why did you eat them desperately?" "So," the big snow leopard asked very annoyedly, "Hey, old turtle, why don't you keep your word? Didn't you say just now that you were just going to take a look, smell and taste it? Why are you eating it now?" Feifei ate voraciously and said vaguely, "Brother snow leopard, you don't know that some flowers and plants look and smell very much like the kind of herb you want, but if you don't eat some, you don't know if it is poisonous or has side effects. I am testing the poison for you. If I get poisoned, it means that this herb is not the kind we need. You should thank me for my chivalrous spirit, but you, on the contrary, doubt and blame me. Well, if you are not afraid of poisoning, you can try it too." After hearing what Feifei said, the big snow leopard thought it made sense and stopped talking. But not long after, the big snow leopard found something wrong again. Feifei had almost eaten up that very special flower and grass. So he asked again suspiciously, "Then you don't have to eat up all of this kind of flower and grass, are you trying to hide something from me?" "Huh?" Feifei pretended to be embarrassed and said, "When I was eating this flower and grass just now, I felt it was a little sweet. I couldn't stop eating it, as if there was some magic urging me to do this." "I'm so sorry that you misunderstood." The big snow leopard didn't believe it, so he asked again, "How do you feel now? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere?" Feifei replied, "I don't feel anything special, I just ate too fast, and now I feel a little sweaty. In fact, the magic grass that Feifei ate had already begun to take effect on him. Now, in such a cold place high in the snow-capped mountains, he was sweating all over. It turned out that he ate too much and felt very uncomfortable. When he couldn't hold on any longer, Feifei said to the snow leopard, "I may be poisoned. Please take me to a snowy place and cover me with snow to remove the poison." "Can snow remove poison?" the big snow leopard asked in confusion. Of course, there are many kinds of poisons in this world, including ice poison, water poison, fire poison, soul poison, nerve poison, chemical poison, animal poison and plant poison, etc. My poison is plant poison, which is also fire poison. Do you understand? Don't ask me any more, just do what I say and take me to a snowy place. I beg you, Feifei explained hurriedly. Seeing this, the big snow leopard, as a friend, had to follow Feifei's request and carry him to a snowy place. After all, the snow leopard asked Feifei to help find the herbal medicine that would be very good for him. Soon, the snow leopard carried Feifei to a place with more snow, put Feifei in the snow, and then used its left and right front paws to dig up a lot of snow and covered Feifei's body, so that Feifei gradually felt comfortable. About half an hour later, Feifei felt completely normal, so he asked the snow leopard to carry him to continue looking for the herbs he needed. Not long after, they found the same flowers and plants growing not far away. Feifei repeated his old trick and ate the magical herbs he needed. Naturally, the big snow leopard became more and more suspicious. The big snow leopard asked suspiciously, "Hey, why do you always eat these flowers and plants with fire poison? How come you forgot the lesson just now?" "Well, no, you must be lying to me. This flower and plant must be the kind of herbal medicine I expected. I understand. The so-called fire poison means that the whole body is too hot, so you have to rely on snow to cool down. This is because you eat too much? Old thing, you are really cunning. You use me to find medicine for yourself and eat it all by yourself." "Humph, no way. I will eat it too, and you can't have it all by yourself," Feifei said while eating. "Actually, I'm not lying to you. This flower and grass do look a bit like the kind of herb we need, but we don't know how effective it is, nor do we know if it's poisonous, so I had to try it myself. And to try the efficacy of herbs, eating just a little bit won't work. You can only eat more, but if you eat too much, there will still be side effects. The side effect of this herb is the so-called fire poison. Fortunately, we are on the snowy mountains, so it's easier to eliminate the fire poison." The big snow leopard also responded while eating, "Then you can't eat alone and leave your good friends aside. You old thing. You're really not nice," Feifei quickly explained. "I'm not completely sure that this flower and grass is the kind of herb we're looking for, so I can't tell you." Chapter 436 Leaving the Snow Leopard. The big snow leopard asked doubtfully, "Now you should be sure that this is the good medicine we are looking for, right?" After thinking for a while, Feifei said, "I am not completely sure yet. I only know that this is a fever-inducing herb that has a certain effect in resisting the cold, but it will take at least 10 days or half a month to know the effect of strengthening the body." "Ah, it will take that long? You are not lying to me again, are you?" the snow leopard asked doubtfully. "Do you think it is so easy to determine the efficacy and side effects of a herb? This requires a relatively long process. Brother snow leopard, be patient, and try it slowly," Feifei said calmly. "I thought it was a very easy thing. I just needed to look carefully and eat it," the big snow leopard sighed, and then said, "I didn't expect it to be so troublesome." As more and more superb fairy grass were eaten, the big snow leopard gradually felt that his whole body was getting hotter and hotter. He couldn't help but exclaimed in surprise, "Wow! Could this flower and grass really be the kind of herbal medicine you said can keep out the cold? After I ate it, I actually felt warmer and warmer, and even felt a little hot. It's really interesting." Not long after, the snow leopard felt really hot and uncomfortable. He had to learn from Feifei and immediately ran to the snow on the snow mountain and rolled around. After rolling around for a while, he finally got rid of the heat in his body. At this time, Feifei was also too hot, and shouted to the snow leopard to come over and help him to dissipate the heat in the snow. In this way, the two guys finished eating, went to the snow to dissipate the heat, and after dissipating the heat, they went to eat again, over and over again, like crazy people, playing this game of torturing their bodies. After eating the superb fairy grass in this area, Feifei went to other places to find this kind of herb to eat. Gradually, Feifei felt that the muscles of his whole body became harder and tougher, and his ability to resist pressure and beating became stronger and stronger. After more than 10 days, Feifei felt that it was almost done, and it was time to say goodbye to the big snow leopard. This morning, when Feifei was about to torture his body one last time, the big snow leopard suddenly saw a group of wild goats strolling and foraging leisurely 500 meters above the snow mountain, so he left Feifei, lowered his body, and tiptoed quietly towards the group of wild goats. Seeing the snow leopard like this, Feifei immediately knew that the snow leopard was going to hunt. This was very normal and had nothing to do with Feifei. Feifei was too lazy to think too much. He just wanted to finish eating this last fairy grass quickly so that he could return to the big lake and live his own deep water adventure life. Soon, Feifei heard the screams of wild goats, the sound of running sheep hooves, and the roar of the snow leopard chasing him. He still ate his favorite food indifferently. What Feifei never expected was that he couldn't stay out of it alone. After a while, he heard a series of small footsteps coming from far away. He had to look up. Oh my God, when did such a large group of snow mountain muskrats appear? There were as many as 500 or 600 of them. They were about to surround Feifei. Now there was only a gap on the lower side of the mountain. If he didn't leave now, when would he leave? Feifei quickly crawled down the mountain, but the crawling speed of this turtle was too slow, and soon several muskrats circled in front of Feifei, blocking Feifei's way down the mountain. It was really blocked in front and pursued from behind. At this critical moment, Feifei suddenly came up with a quick idea. He turned his body to the side, facing the foot of the mountain, and then rolled down. His body hit the muskrats in front of him that were blocking him from going down the mountain. He rolled over them, rolling all the way to the foot of the mountain. Fortunately, when he rolled down from the snow-capped mountain thousands of meters high, there were several gentle slopes that played a certain buffering role, instead of falling like a free fall. In addition, Feifei finally fell on deep weeds and thick fallen leaves. Therefore, after Feifei finally rolled down to the foot of the mountain and stopped, he did not suffer serious injuries. His tortoise shell was still relatively strong and did not break. Fortunately, he was very happy. But just when Feifei breathed a sigh of relief and wanted to turn over and get up, suddenly, there was a crackling sound of animals stepping on dead leaves from far away. Could it be that another wild animal was coming? Feeling the danger coming again, Feifei immediately retracted his head and limbs into his tortoise shell to avoid a sudden disaster. The footsteps of the animals were getting closer and closer, and soon they were nearby. The voice of a snow wolf rang out, "Wow!" After all this time and making such a big noise, the thing rolling down the mountain turned out to be a turtle without a head and limbs. The voice of another snow wolf sounded nearby. "What do you mean, a turtle without a head and limbs?" "It's just a turtle that shrinks its head. It's afraid that we will hurt it, so it shrinks into its shell. In fact, we have no interest in this kind of rough and old animal. Let's go somewhere else to find goats or wild deer to eat." The first snow wolf said, "Wife, you are right, let's go now. Don't waste time here." As soon as the words fell, the two snow wolves left together. At this moment, Feifei suddenly felt that the heat was unbearable. In fact, he had felt very hot when he was eating the fairy grass on the snowy mountain just now. It was only when he encountered danger and broke out in a cold sweat that he did not feel hot anymore. When he rolled down the mountain, he only heard the rustling of the wind in his ears, and did not feel hot. But now, the effect of the medicine really took effect. What should he do? Before this, when the big snow leopard was there, the snow leopard carried him to the snow to cool him down with the accumulated snow. But now there is no snow leopard or black leaf monkey around, so he can only rely on himself. Feifei thought, at this moment, it would be great if there was a water source nearby. There is no need for a big lake, a big river or a small river, just a small stream will do. But where can I find a water source? He listened carefully and confirmed that there was no sound of running water nearby. No mistake, one song, one post, one content, 1-6, one book, one bar, one look. Now he had to settle for the second best and look for some cool and thirst-quenching herbs to eat, regardless of whether it works or not. Soon he crawled towards the place where wildflowers bloomed and weeds grew thickly, carefully looking for the herbs he needed. Not long after, he really found several cooling herbs with different effects, so he ate them without hesitation. It's true that although the effect was not as fast and significant as when he was buried in the snow, after Feifei ate a lot of cooling herbs, the heat in his body slowly subsided, and he felt comfortable. So far, Feifei's mission to go to the mountains to eat top-quality fairy herbs was completed. Next, how to return to the lake as soon as possible was in front of Feifei, so how to do it? The last set of cheating methods was probably no longer effective. Chapter 437, Scare Off the Lizard. Feifei thought, I am going to return to the bottom of the lake, from the top to the bottom, and the water also flows from the top to the bottom. As long as I find a small river or stream, I can realize my wish of returning triumphantly. That is to say, the most urgent thing is to find a flowing water source, and the more luxuriant the plants and trees grow, the more likely there is a water source. Yes, as long as I go to the place where the trees and weeds are the densest and luxuriant, I will find a water source sooner or later. Thinking of this, Feifei couldn't help but feel happy, and crawled towards the place where the flowers and grasses grew the most and the most luxuriant. Unexpectedly, when passing through a dense forest, he encountered a huge chameleon, a lizard whose skin color changes with the surrounding environment, blocking his way. This hateful chameleon threatened in a sarcastic tone, "Where did you come from, you stupid turtle? You dare to pass through my territory, are you going to die?" Oh, this big lizard is not simple. Knowing be polite before using force, could it also know that I, a turtle, can also understand lizards? Are all the animals on this planet so smart, or is this guy another soul transplant experiment? At this moment, Feifei was wondering in his heart. Who cares? I'll answer it in lizard language first. With this thought in mind, Feifei replied, in lizard language, I am a tortoise who travels around the world. I occasionally pass by here. Please give me a favor, good man. Chameleon was stunned when he heard it. I didn't expect that a silly tortoise like you can actually speak the language of our chameleon family. Tell me the truth, which monster are you from? Feifei said neither arrogantly nor humbly, I am not a monster, just a studious language master. In fact, I know many languages, and the language of your chameleon family is only a small part of them. Chameleon was very surprised and said, so, you are quite capable? But you can only be a tortoise when you meet the enemy. But I have the skill of invisibility, which can prevent enemies from seeing me from a distance. If I am discovered by the enemy, I can also escape quickly, unlike you who are clumsy and slow. Feifei smiled and said, I admit that you are more capable and skilled than me, brother, can I pass by now? The chameleon said unhappily, I haven't finished yet. I finally found an audience, you have to listen to me to the end. Where was I just now? Feifei said with a wry smile. Speaking of me being clumsy and slow, what else are you going to say about me next? The chameleon tilted his head and thought for a while, then said, by the way, you are still a useless waste with almost no attack power against any animal. You are a complete idiot and a coward. Feifei was too lazy to argue with his chameleon and said with a smile, are you done criticizing me now? Do you feel particularly comfortable? Can you let me pass? The chameleon was very puzzled and said, why don't you refute me when I scold you like this? You are really a useless coward, Feifei said with a smile on her face. Actually, I think you are right to scold me. Why should I refute? I just want to get through here quickly. I have very important things to do. Please make way for me, brother. Chameleon sighed and said, oh. I have never seen someone so shameless as you. How come you don't have any sense of shame? I feel sad for you. It's better if you are not a master of language. Well, how come such a shameless guy like you has important things to do? Who are you kidding? Are you in a hurry to lick someone's ass? Ha ha. Before he finished speaking, he burst into laughter. Seeing this, the smile on Feifei's face gradually disappeared. An idea came to his mind, and he suddenly shouted, oh no, there's a poisonous scorpion crawling towards you from behind you. Chameleon was so frightened when he heard it that his face changed drastically. At the same time, he quickly turned his head and looked back, and asked, where is it? Why didn't I see it? Feifei said calmly, just when you looked back, the poisonous scorpion went back into the bushes. At this moment, Chameleon was frightened by Feifei's lies and his heart was pounding. He asked Feifei, old man, you are not trying to scare me on purpose, are you? Tell me quickly, is there really a poisonous scorpion hiding nearby? Feifei said mysteriously, if you believe it, it is there. If you don't believe it, it is not there. However, if you are bitten to death by a poisonous scorpion later, don't blame me for not notifying you in advance. Chameleon asked doubtfully, you can't play tricks on me like this. Is there or not? Feifei pretended to be serious and said, anyway, I did find a poisonous scorpion behind you. If you believe me, Leave here quickly. Wouldn't it be safer? Otherwise, in a while, not only will there be poisonous scorpions, but even poisonous snakes. Don't blame me for not telling you in advance." After hearing what Feifei said, the chameleon became even more uneasy. "It seems that I can't stay here for long. I'd better run away quickly." "Thank you for your reminder, old man." As soon as the voice fell, he ran away in disgrace. Seeing that he had scared the chameleon away with just a few words, Feifei couldn't help but feel proud. He hummed a leisurely little song and crawled forward while humming. Passing through the meadow with wildflowers blooming, grass and flowers fragrant, he entered the primeval forest with monkeys singing, insects chirping, birds singing and vines growing thickly. No mistakes in one song, one post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum, one look. I struggled to pull my feet out of the rotten branches and leaves, climbed up a slightly open slope, looked around, and saw dark green everywhere. Dark green leaves covered the sky. After thousands of layers, there was no shadow of blue sky, let alone sunlight. The light in the forest had been diffused and diffracted countless times, presenting a hazy and dim luster. There were strange plants all around. Some were huge trees that several people could hug, covered with green moss and silk vines. Some were not as thick as an ape's arm, covered with herring clumps. Some had hanging silk vines, and some crawled on the ground. Intertwined, entangled, curled, and intertwined, as far as the eye could see, there was a dark green of varying shades. Although I was unwilling, I had to admit that I was lost. In a hurry, Feifei came under a big tree where several magpies were singing happily. He raised his head and shouted in the magpie language, "Hello, my magpie friends. I want to ask you something. Does anyone know where the nearest stream or river is?" Wow! It's incredible. This turtle can actually speak our magpie language. Yes, this turtle is amazing. Could this turtle be a monster? Who knows? Maybe it's a monster. Several magpies on the tree immediately started chattering. Chapter 438, Forest Monkey. The magpie's fussing conversation was completely within Feifei's expectations, so Feifei shouted again, "My fellow magpies, don't be surprised. Although I am a turtle, I am a super language master. I not only understand the languages of many animals that crawl on the ground, but also understand the languages of animals that swim in the water and fly in the sky." "Ah, so amazing, then you must be a fairy," a magpie exclaimed. "Yes, if you are not a fairy, you will definitely not have such a skill," another magpie also agreed. "Hey, how can I tell you? Maybe I am a little boastful, but in fact I just happen to learn a little bit of your magpie language, and I don't understand many other animal languages. I am just asking you for directions now. Why do you bother about such a boring question as whether I am a fairy?" Feifei realized the harm of telling the truth and explained immediately. "It seems that I still have to hide something in the future, otherwise, it may cause a lot of trouble in the future. Then tell us honestly whether you are a fairy or a monster." "We will tell you," one of the magpies asked. "I solemnly tell you that I am neither a god nor a monster, but just an ordinary turtle. Now, can you tell me where the nearest water source is? I am really thirsty and want to drink some water." Feifei had to settle for the next best thing and only asked for a small puddle of water, because he was really thirsty. "Well, forget it, we are too lazy to argue with you now. But you are not allowed to brag again in the future. It really scared us to death. We really thought you were a god or a monster just now," a magpie said with relief. "Okay, I think I'll tell you. Go about 2,800 meters to your left, there will be a relatively large bamboo forest. Go through the bamboo forest and cross a not-so-high hill, and you will see a small stream," another magpie finally kindly guided Feifei and said. When Feifei heard this, he quickly thanked them. "Thank you, everyone. You will definitely be rewarded for your kindness. Goodbye." Following the guidance of the magpie, Feifei took great effort and spent about 3 days to finally find the large bamboo forest, which made Feifei overjoyed. But it was almost dusk at this time, and suddenly there was an ominous bird cry in the bamboo forest, which made Feifei inexplicably feel a hint of danger. As a turtle, the most afraid thing is probably snakes, especially small venomous snakes. In this bamboo forest, it is naturally the bamboo leaf pit viper, and night is the peak time for venomous snakes and beasts to appear. The reason why turtles are most afraid of small venomous snakes is that when turtles encounter danger, they will retract their heads and limbs into the turtle shell, but the holes in the turtle shell that allow the head and limbs to enter and exit cannot be closed, So those small venomous snakes will drill into these holes and bite the turtle to death, and then eat the turtle meat inside. So, what Feifei feared most now was small poisonous snakes like the bamboo leaf green snake, which was much more frightening than big snakes like the python. Since he couldn't pass through the bamboo forest at night, he would wait until tomorrow morning. Thinking of this, Feifei quickly retreated to the forest, found a big rock, and hid in the grass under the rock to spend this dangerous night. The next day, Feifei woke up as soon as it got light. With the help of the morning light, he hurriedly crawled into the big bamboo forest. When he came to the edge of the bamboo forest, he listened carefully and sniffed with his nose. He didn't find anything unusual, so he went into the bamboo forest without hesitation. From now on, he must speed up and try to pass through the bamboo forest before dark, otherwise he will be in danger. Although there are fewer obstacles on the ground in the bamboo forest than in the big forest, the wild bamboos grow unevenly, so Feifei always has to turn around, some big turns, some small turns, climbing and climbing, turning and turning. In the end, Feifei was dizzy and felt like he was turning back again. This bamboo forest is simply a maze. Faced with such a difficult situation, Feifei had to temporarily give up crossing the bamboo forest and return to the original forest again, intending to seek help from the original residents in the forest. There are several monkey tribes living in this big forest, one of which is called howling monkeys. This group of monkeys likes to show off, and they always shout for trivial things, making their forest noisy, more lively than going to the temple fair, which makes other residents in this forest look at them sideways. That morning, Feifei happened to approach the monkey tribe and met a howling monkey on guard at the entrance of the tribe. The yellow-haired monkey was suddenly surprised to see a big turtle coming out from nowhere and poking its head towards the direction of their howling monkey village. So he turned around and climbed onto the branch of a big tree more than 30 meters behind him, woke up another yellow-haired monkey who was sleeping lazily and said, "Brother Daxio, it's bad, a big turtle is coming." When the yellow-haired monkey named Daxio heard it, he burst into laughter and said, "What's the bad news? It's just a big turtle. Haha, haha, haha. I say, Brother Dajing, are you used to making a fuss about everything? You are so funny. Haha, haha, haha. I find it funny every time I think about it. Today I was woken up by your laughter," the yellow-haired monkey named Dajing said disapprovingly. "Don't laugh at me this time. I really think it's very strange. This turtle is not only big, but also seems to be very smart. Look at its cleverness in looking around. I think it is definitely not dumber than us. If you don't believe me, let's go and take a look. Let's take a look. I don't believe there is such a smart turtle in the world." As soon as the voice fell, the laughing monkey turned over and climbed up, following the dodging monkey, swinging a few times between the trees, and then came to the big tree that Feifei was close to, staring down with wide eyes. Suddenly, he was shocked. It turned out that when Feifei saw two male yellow-haired monkeys appearing on the tree at the same time, he smiled and asked in monkey language, "Hey, two monkey brothers, hello. Excuse me, do you have spring water here? I am so thirsty now, I really want to drink a sip of water." When the laughing monkey heard that Feifei was talking to him in monkey language, he was immediately shocked and even more surprised than the shocked monkey. The shocked monkey came to his senses and said, "What did I say just now? This turtle is really not an ordinary turtle." The laughing monkey had to agree at this time. "Yes, since I was born, I have never seen such a smart turtle. Could this guy really be a monster?" Before the shocked monkey responded, Feifei, the big turtle under the tree, answered first, "Don't get me wrong. I am neither a monster nor a god. I am just a little smarter than ordinary turtles. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439, Encountering the Monkey Group Again. Laughing Monkey absolutely disagreed with Feifei's modest statement, "You are more than a little smart, you are much smarter. Please don't be so modest, okay?" The frightened monkey also echoed, "Yes, yes, you are very smart, big turtle. Where did you learn such fluent monkey language?" Feifei said nonchalantly, "Language is a very simple thing. If you listen to it a few more times, you will learn it. I also heard monkey language spoken by monkeys like you a few times and I learned it. There's nothing to be surprised about." "Ah, so this is how you learned it," And you want us not to be surprised? The laughing monkey said in amazement, we can't even dream of your super language ability. We can only admire, envy and be jealous of you. Don't be so surprised. Okay, Feifei said modestly, otherwise, I will be very embarrassed. Besides, I also understand the languages of many other animals. If I say it out loud, won't you both be scared to death? Ah, is that true? You actually know the languages of many other animals. Are you sure you are clear-headed now and not bragging or lying? The frightened monkey and the laughing monkey asked almost at the same time. Of course. Why would I brag or lie? Is bragging or lying fun? Feifei said with disdain. The laughing monkey said almost in complete disbelief, I know a little bit of the orangutan language. How about you say a few common orangutan expressions for us to hear? So Feifei said in orangutan language, hey, how are you? Have you eaten? The laughing monkey was startled and staggered, almost falling from the tree. He quickly grabbed the tree trunk, took a deep breath, calmed himself down, looked at Feifei and said, am I dreaming today? How can there be such a smart turtle in the world? The frightened monkey also hurriedly asked the laughing monkey, Brother Laughing, should we invite such a smart turtle to our village as a guest and let our king decide whether it stays or leaves? The laughing monkey thought for a while and said, this is beyond doubt. You should go and inform the king and ask the king to send a few guys to invite this smart turtle to our village as a guest. I will chat with it here first to stabilize it. As soon as the words fell, the dodging monkey was like a fire on his buttocks, swinging back to his own tribe's mountain village to report the news to the Monkey King. The dodging monkey stayed behind and chatted with Feifei leisurely. Soon, the Monkey King sent his confidant, the housekeeper, with a dozen yellow-haired monkeys to follow the dodging monkey to welcome Feifei to the mountain village. Facing the warm welcome of the howling monkey tribe, Feifei had long been accustomed to it. His current goal is to use this group of monkeys to find a water source so that he can escape and return to the lake. Now, he was carried by a group of enthusiastic monkeys like a county magistrate in ancient times sitting in an official sedan chair, and was directly brought to a very primitive and simple monkey village, and sent to the Monkey King Lao Aijiao. The Monkey King let out a strange cry, wow, my goodness, what a big turtle, this is the biggest turtle I have ever seen in my life. Feifei raised his head slowly, looked at the Monkey King Lao Aijiao, and said in monkey language neither arrogantly nor humbly, hello, my king. Today I happened to pass by your village, and I never thought that I would disturb your elegance. Please forgive me. The Monkey King was so surprised that his eyes widened. He looked at Feifei, stunned for a moment, and then shouted loudly, my God, you are a turtle, but you can speak our monkey language so fluently, it's incredible. Who taught you? Tell me quickly, Feifei said calmly. No one taught me, I learned it by myself. At this time, the laughing monkey standing next to the Monkey King interrupted and said, Your Majesty, he said he can speak the languages of many animals. Ah, is he really that amazing? The Monkey King Old Love to Scream exclaimed, if that's the case, then don't leave, just stay and be my diplomatic envoy. Feifei couldn't help but ask puzzledly, does your monkey tribe have diplomatic disputes with other animal tribes? Hey. To be honest, there are a lot of diplomatic disputes. The Monkey King sighed, and then complained, there is a dispute over cornfields with a baboon tribe in the west, a life and death battle with the chimpanzees in the north, a dispute over breadfruit trees with the black-haired monkeys in the east, and a dispute over water sources with the curly-haired apes in the south. When Feifei heard the word water source, his whole body shook, his eyes sparkled, and he became energetic. After the Monkey King said I love to shout all the time, he saw Feifei was actually interested and thought that Feifei was willing to serve him. He was overjoyed and quickly ordered his men to put out fruits and prepare to entertain Feifei. But after a while, he suddenly realized that Feifei, a big turtle, was obviously different from his group of monkeys and did not like to eat fruits, so he hurriedly lowered his head and asked Feifei what he liked to eat. Feifei smiled and said, I am a turtle, of course I am different from you. My favorite food is small fish and shrimp. When the Monkey King heard this, he shouted, my dear, you quickly go and get some monkeys to catch some small fish and shrimp for me. Feifei hurriedly said, otherwise, send me over and let me eat and drink enough by myself, so that they don't have to run around and let me eat rotten fish and shrimp. The Monkey King scratched his head and said, this is not good. You just came here and haven't had time to rest. You have to go there yourself. It's too hard, Feifei said, let everyone carry me. It's not hard at all. The Monkey King had no choice but to send a few monkeys to carry Feifei to catch fish and shrimp to eat. Halfway through, The monkeys finally found a way to tie Feifei to the back of the strongest monkey, and then this monkey swung on the tree in the forest like other monkeys. About 2 hours later, the monkeys took Feifei to a large pool with a mountain spring waterfall. What surprised Feifei was that this large pool was very deep. "I just don't know where the water in this pool will flow." The monkeys untied Feifei from the monkey's back and let Feifei climb into the pool. Feifei was so happy that he dived into the bottom of the water, searching for small fish and shrimp to eat while looking for the direction of the water flow. Unexpectedly, at the bottom of this 30 to 40 meter deep pool, there are not only big fish about a foot long, but also small fish as long as a little finger, as well as many shrimps and crabs of all sizes, and even some turtles and oysters. This is really an underwater world suitable for turtles to live in. Not long after, Feifei was full and satisfied. Next, he began to look for the direction of the water flow to prepare for leaving here in the future. Feifei was slowly looking for a route to escape in the future under the water, and the monkeys on the pool saw that Feifei had not floated up for a long time after entering the pool, and they were so anxious that they scratched their faces and turned around. Chapter 440, Escape Back to the Great Lake. After spending nearly half an hour, Feifei was surprised to find that there was a large underwater vortex in the northeast of the pool. The cause of this vortex was naturally a large underwater hole. The water finally flowed out of this underwater hole. It was unknown where it flowed to. It was estimated to be at least a small river or stream outside. At this time, Feifei wanted to take the opportunity to escape, but she felt that it was not very righteous. However, she thought again that it was nothing. She had not promised the Monkey King anything. Besides, the Monkey King also had selfish motives and wanted to use Feifei to do things for him. Moreover, there would be more and more troubles in the future. If things went wrong, there would be unnecessary wars, resulting in a large number of casualties on all sides. Feifei was just a passing tourist, so why should she get involved in this tangled other people's incident? It's better to have less trouble than more trouble, and the most important thing for Feifei now was her ideal, deep water exploration. So she had to return to the bottom of the lake as soon as possible. In addition, it is better to escape on the first day than to wait for the right day. Now is the best opportunity to escape. If the Monkey King guards him closely in the future, he may not have the chance to escape again. After thinking all this through, Feifei no longer hesitated and swam towards the big vortex at the bottom of the pool, and followed the big vortex into the big water hole at the bottom of the pool. In this dark water hole, drifting forward with the water flow, I don't know how long it has passed, Feifei saw a sudden light in front of him, and soon drifted into a small river with the water flow. Although the sun is setting, it is not dark yet. Feifei is more careful. In order to prevent the monkeys from looking for him along the river bank, Feifei quickly got under a big rock at the bottom of the small river and hid himself. He only waited until it was completely dark, and then drifted forward along the water flow and returned to the big lake. Sure enough, as soon as Feifei hid, the group of monkeys who accompanied Feifei to the water pool to find food found here. It turned out that the monkeys waited and waited but did not see Feifei climb up the shore. They estimated that Feifei might have been washed into the creek downstream by the whirlpool under the water. So they immediately swung again, passed through the woods, came to the creek downstream, and carefully observed the movement in the creek. Because the water in the creek was relatively clear, the monkeys were self-righteous and did not go down to the river to search carefully. Instead, they hastily walked along the creek while checking and heading downstream, just like seeing flowers in a hurry. It was because the monkeys trusted their eyes too much and did not use their brains that Feifei escaped this disaster. Of course, this is also because the monkeys rarely go to the river to swim and forage, so they don't know much about the situation at the bottom of the river and don't have enough experience. If the monkeys knew that Feifei was hiding under a big rock at the bottom of the river and escaped under their noses, they would probably be so angry that they would cry loudly. The monkeys did not find Feifei, the slick tortoise, until dark. Finally, they had to go back to the Monkey King with a sad face and report that the cunning tortoise was missing and could not be found no matter how hard they looked. The Monkey King was so angry that he not only scolded the monkeys who had failed to do their duty, but also dragged them out and beat them up to serve as a warning to others. Then he scolded Feifei, the charlatan. That night, Feifei swam down the river non-stop and drifted a long way along the stream. His speed was many times faster than crawling on land. At the same time, there was no danger. He was in a very good mood. In the first few days, Feifei was not brave enough to act recklessly. He just swam forward by moving at night and hiding during the day. After about 7 or 8 days, he gradually became braver and then traveled day and night regardless of everything. Soon he came to the river. Although Feifei swam in the river for a long time this time, it was very smooth. He did not encounter devilfish and emperor sturgeon, nor did he encounter giant pythons and crocodiles. He was very lucky. About a month later, Feifei finally returned to the huge lake. Soon after, he found a way to dive to the bottom of the lake to find his master, the camel dragon turtle. Unexpectedly, although this time he also followed the previous routine and slowly dived to the depths of the water along the slope of the lake bottom, he encountered constant troubles on the way. When passing a small canyon composed of many milky rocks at the bottom of the lake, Feifei was unexpectedly caught by a huge lake clam and could not move. At first, Feifei was so scared that he immediately retracted his head and limbs into the turtle shell and entered the first level of alert and the best defense method. However, after a long while, the giant clam did not make any further dangerous moves, as if it wanted to crush Feifei to death, but it did not expect that the turtle shell on Feifei's body was so hard. Perhaps it was the first time in its life that the giant clam had crushed a turtle to eat its meat. This put the giant clam in a dilemma, because it had been hungry for several days. It thought it could have a good meal by catching a big guy, but it turned out to be a turtle that it could not chew or break. At this time, the giant clam suddenly came up with an idea and released a strong corrosive liquid from its body, pouring it directly into the 5 small holes in Feifei's turtle shell that entered and exited Feifei's head and limbs, in an attempt to rot Feifei's turtle flesh and turn it into soft thick juice, which it would then suck. Obviously, this scheme was so vicious that if Feifei had not apprenticeship and learned skills, the giant clam's trick would have been very likely to succeed. Unfortunately, Feifei is no longer the same as before. His whole body is not as hard as steel, but at least as hard as a brick. Moreover, Feifei now finds that the giant clam's poisonous trick has caused him to feel fever and numbness in his head and limbs. So he struggled desperately and shook left and right. Soon, the thick corrosive liquid of the giant clam was diluted by the surrounding lake water, and Feifei no longer had any bad feelings. From now on, Feifei only needs to calmly compete with a giant clam in endurance to see who can hold on to the end. In less than an hour, the giant clam was defeated because it had run out of tricks and had to let go of Feifei and let him go free. This encounter made Feifei more cautious in the underwater world, and he never dared to underestimate those seemingly gentle and harmless underwater creatures again. Although this giant clam at the bottom of the lake did not cause any substantial damage to Feifei, it did unprecedented harm to the fish and shrimp at the bottom of the lake. Before Feifei had swam far, he found that another giant clam had already clamped a big fish and had eaten nearly half of the fish's body. No mistakes, 1 post, 1 content, 1 6, 1 9, 1 book, 1 bar. Seeing this scene, Feifei couldn't help but shudder all over, thinking, fortunately, I'm not a fish, otherwise, I would have been finished. Feifei continued to swim forward, and saw more and more aquatic creatures at the bottom of the lake, as if everyone was swimming in one direction like a market. This made Feifei feel very strange. After hesitating for a moment, he decided to follow and take a look, and find something to eat casually. After all, he had been running around recently and rarely calmed down to find food. Chapter 441, Trapped at the Bottom of the Lake. After tracking for about an hour, Feifei suddenly found a chaos ahead. Various underwater creatures of all sizes were swimming around a large area of pink bubbles rising straight up. The phenomenon of bubbles rising may be caused by the eruption of hot springs at the bottom of the lake. They swam back and forth, and no one knew what they were doing. When I got closer, my goodness, it turned out that this was not a market but a large food chain. The water was boiling like a pot, and one after another, schools of fish were flying around like lightning and stars, making people dazzled. A large group of countless small fish and shrimps were preying on the lake bottom microorganisms brought up by the bubbles at the bottom of the water, while many half-foot-long spotted fish coming from all directions and nearby lobsters and crabs were preying on these small fish and shrimps. There was also a group of large fish over 1 meter long that came from all over and took the opportunity to prey on these half-foot-long spotted fish, and occasionally ate some lobsters. Among this group of big fish, there are few emperor sturgeons. They are very cunning and hide in the dark nearby. They do not attack the fish blatantly, but take the opportunity to sneak attack and kill the large and medium-sized fish that are accidentally left alone. As Feifei gets closer and closer to this underwater market, He can clearly feel that the water temperature is getting higher and higher. However, it is still quite comfortable. After all, this is a hot spring eruption site, not a volcanic eruption site. Obviously, for many underwater creatures, this is a super large food city with a lot of delicious food and no money for eating, but unfortunately, it may cost life. Feifei naturally took the opportunity to grab a handful and have a full meal, and then see if there are any other exciting programs to miss. After confirming that there is nothing to see, Feifei turned around and left, continuing to swim to the deeper bottom of the lake. Not long after, Feifei swam into a large area of lake bottom waters lined with stone pillars. The light here is even dimmer. The deeper into the stone pillar forest, the dimmer the light becomes. Suddenly, a large group of panicked salmon swam from far to near, heading straight for the stone pillar forest, followed by 7 or 8 supersized Tyrannosaurus rex, the largest and most ferocious of the emperor sturgeons. Feifei was also caught in it and hid in the stone pillar forest. What he was most worried about now was that the fire in the city gate would affect the fish in the pond, and if he was not careful, he would encounter the extremely unwarranted disaster. Seeing that the group of huge Tyrannosaurus rex could not squeeze into the narrow group of underwater stone pillars, everyone couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, thinking that these Tyrannosaurus rex would leave tactfully. Who knew that these Tyrannosaurus rex were like great white sharks in the sea, fierce and extremely manic? After seeing the group of salmon hiding in the stone pillar forest, they couldn't help but get furious. Relying on their 4 or 5 meter long bodies, they actually didn't take the stone pillar forest seriously, and used their huge bodies to violently hit the underwater stone pillars with a diameter of 1 meter. The fierce impact of the Tyrannosaurus caused the surrounding water flow to suddenly become chaotic, and a huge turbulent current was generated at the bottom of the water, which spread rapidly in all directions. After repeated and brutal impacts, it finally knocked down an underwater stone pillar. The salmon in the underwater stone pillars where they repeatedly hid were originally a precarious ruin. They suffered from the impact of undercurrents day and night underwater. At this time, a stone pillar on the edge collapsed immediately after being hit, and stirred up the rolling mud and sand at the bottom of the water. As these Tyrannosaurus sturgeons kept hitting the stone pillars like crazy, the stone pillars on the periphery of the underwater stone pillar forest collapsed one after another, forcing the group of salmon to wrap Feifei, the unlucky turtle, and swim towards the center of the increasingly dense underwater stone pillars. The situation was getting worse for Feifei and the salmon. Unexpectedly, at this moment, something unexpected happened. A Tyrannosaurus sturgeon was obviously tired of using its body to hit the stone pillars. Perhaps the constant hitting made it feel unbearable pain, so it gave up hitting and took the shortcut of rushing in to catch. However, the consequences of this reckless advance were disastrous. The reason for this was that the Tyrannosaurus sturgeon chased too hard and did not observe carefully. In addition, the light here was extremely dim, causing its head to be clamped by 2 stone pillars in the central area of the stone pillar forest and unable to move. When the group of salmon saw this, they were overjoyed and immediately launched a counterattack. They rushed forward and began to bite the reckless Tyrannosaurus sturgeon desperately, biting it all over with blood and leaving it with no skin. In a blink of an eye, the lake water in the underwater stone pillar forest broke the calm. The collapsed stone pillars caused the underwater undercurrents to appear frequently. The lake water surged, washing away the blood, but the new blood dyed the lake water turbid. The sturgeon, which was bitten and wounded, struggled and rolled desperately, and finally pulled its head out from between the 2 stone pillars, then turned its tail and head to escape. Unfortunately, before it swam far, it was immediately bitten to death by other sturgeons that followed and shared the food. Lines of blood kept floating up from the deep water. At this time, the salmon were still celebrating the victory of driving away a sturgeon that they had just won with great difficulty. They were surrounded by blood and other sturgeons that came in groups, as well as the stone pillars under the water. However, this group of sturgeons, as strong and ferocious as sharks, did not immediately launch an attack on the salmon, nor did they continue to hit the dozens of stone pillars left in the stone pillar forest under the water. Instead, they wandered back and forth outside the stone pillar forest, as if they were trying to monitor and put the salmon under house arrest. At this point, the 2 sides of the pursuit formed a stalemate in the stone pillar forest. Those outside did not attack in, and those inside did not dare to rush out. No mistakes, 1 post, 1 content, 1 post. I don't know how long it had passed, maybe a day, maybe several days. In short, when Feifei woke up, she found that things had changed completely as she expected. The group of salmon that were pressing on her back had disappeared without a trace. Chapter 442, Lucky Encounter with a Female Turtle. However, what Feifei couldn't understand was that a turtle almost as big as him appeared in front of him, staring at him without blinking, and seemed to have a somewhat affectionate expression. Could it be a female turtle? Feifei couldn't help blushing when she saw the female turtle staring at her. At this moment, the female turtle said, "You finally woke up. I'm relieved now." Feifei couldn't help but ask curiously, "What happened? Where did the salmon go?" The female turtle explained carefully, "The salmon left 2 days ago. I found you this morning when I was looking for something to eat. At first, I only saw your back exposed. Out of curiosity, I didn't believe it was just a turtle shell, so I came up to take a look. I wiped off the mud around it, and when I lifted up the turtle shell, I found it was quite heavy. I took a closer look and found that it was a turtle. So I took great pains to move you here and take a closer look." Unexpectedly, you woke up in a short while, Feifei thought to herself. After all this time, this is how it happened. No wonder. Thinking of this, Feifei said a little embarrassedly, "Then I really should thank you very much. However, how did those salmon leave? Aren't there many king sturgeons outside? Are they not afraid of death?" The female turtle continued to explain. "Hey, don't mention it. That day was simply a tragic day. I couldn't bear to watch the fierce scene, the corpses everywhere, the blood and flesh flying everywhere, and the blood mist. But in the end, a huge lake-bottom black dragon snake came from somewhere and immediately scared the arrogant king sturgeons away. After that, not long after, the lake-bottom black dragon snake and the group of salmon also left one after another. But what surprised me was that the giant snake didn't eat salmon, but was only interested in king sturgeons." Feifei quickly added, "What's so strange about this? This is called one thing conquers another, which is a universal law in nature. Oh. By the way, how did you come to this remote underwater stone pillar forest?" The female turtle said naturally. "Do you think this is strange? It is because this place is remote and no one comes to disturb me that I can live and work here and lay eggs." Hearing this, Feifei asked in confusion, "But there are almost no small fish and shrimps here to eat, so how do you live?" "Tisk, you don't understand this," the female turtle said disapprovingly. "Although there are few small fish and shrimps here, there are still many other aquatic creatures, such as oysters, lake clams and water plants. Occasionally, you can even find some crayfish. It seems that you don't have high requirements for the quality of life. I really admire you," Feifei praised sincerely. "There is no way. If you want to live a quiet and stable life, you have to live a simple and poor life. It's difficult to have everything," the female turtle said indifferently. "So, your spiritual pursuit is better than material enjoyment?" Feifei asked a little curiously. "Of course, this turtle is different from other turtles. I pay special attention to my spiritual world, but I don't care much about material pursuits," the female turtle boasted a little. "Not simple, amazing, but I don't know your name and how old you are," Feifei continued to ask. "Why, do you want to pursue me?" the female turtle asked back in surprise. "You think too much. I don't have any intention," Feifei immediately denied it. "Hey, a grown man like you, but you are so brave. You don't even dare to say a word to pursue a woman." "It's not that I dare not say it, but I can't say it in my heart." What do you mean by can't say it in my heart? What do you mean by this?" "It just means that I haven't reached the point where I want to say it, so I can't say it in my heart." "Do you understand?" "Yes, I understand. It's just that I haven't been excited enough to say it involuntarily. It seems that you are still relatively stable, not relatively stable, but too stable. You are so stable that you don't look like a male turtle. If it's not a male turtle, then what is it?" "It's the turtle, or bastard." "Why do you scold yourself like this? Have you done something immoral?" "I don't know. Maybe I have done something to hurt others unknowingly, and I still don't know it." "The fact that you can say that shows that you are still a guy with conscience. I believe you will never do anything too extreme. I didn't expect that I was so good in your eyes. I am really ashamed." "Don't say that. I think you must be a kind and loving turtle." It's a pity that I'm just a turtle, not a human." You still want to become a human? Isn't your ambition too big?" Hearing what the female turtle said, Feifei couldn't help but feel sad. "Alice, I was originally a human, but because of my curiosity, I ended up on this alien planet that doesn't belong to me. Now I've ended up becoming a turtle. How sad. How miserable." Seeing Feifei's sad look, The female turtle thought she had said something wrong, so she comforted her. Actually, it's nothing. We animals, whether flying in the sky, walking on the ground or swimming in the water, who doesn't want to be a member of the human race? After all, humans are the masters of this planet and have such a long and enjoyable life. Unfortunately, we can't do it. We can only envy and be jealous, unless we are reborn in the next life. This is our fate. Feifei became even more sad and upset when she heard it. The grievance in her heart could not be released, and finally she burst into tears. The female turtle was shocked when she saw it, and thought, "You are really weird. What I said was not wrong at all, and it shouldn't make you so sad and cry. Are you a human being? Then aren't you a monster?" Feifei kept crying, while the female turtle was at a loss and didn't know how to persuade her. After a long while, Feifei finally stopped crying. After crying out the grievances in her heart, she felt much better. She thought, since I have already chosen this unpredictable road, I must grit my teeth and move forward, just like a pawn that has crossed the river. There is no turning back. It is true that once a bow is shot, there is no turning back. After making up her mind, she stopped thinking about it. Then, Feifei suddenly asked the female turtle an off-topic question. "Have you been to the deepest part of the lake?" The female turtle was stunned and said, "I shouldn't have, because I have been to a place much deeper than this, and it made me feel very uncomfortable there, so I didn't continue to go down, and then I floated up." Chapter 443, Deep into the Lake. "Then have you seen any strange underwater creatures down there?" Feifei asked anxiously. "Well, it seems there are quite a few." The female turtle thought for a moment and said, "There are quite a few strange-looking creatures that are hard to see here." "Why are you asking these questions? I want to go down and see the world," Feifei answered without hesitation. "Ah, don't go, it's very dangerous," the female turtle said anxiously. "It's okay, I'll be careful," Feifei responded nonchalantly. "Hey, why are you so ungrateful?" The female turtle couldn't help getting angry. "Thank you for your concern, I will remember your kindness to me. Goodbye, beauty." After saying that, Feifei turned around and swam out of the stone forest and started a new journey. Continuously moving forward, continuously sinking. I don't know how far I swam. Just when he felt a little tired, suddenly, a patch of blue light flashing stars appeared in front of him. Could it be that the stars in the sky shone into the bottom of the lake? Full of curiosity, Feifei swam closer with great effort. Wow! Oh my goodness! It turned out that there was a large area of clams opening and closing their shells, making the night pearls in the shells shine like stars in the sky. Seeing this scene, Feifei was very shocked. He couldn't help but put his head into the clam shell to take a closer look at what the night pearl looked like. Suddenly, he remembered that he was trapped by a giant clam not long ago and couldn't move. His head that almost reached into the clam shell immediately retracted. At this time, the clam in front of him suddenly closed its shell, which frightened Feifei so much that he broke out in a cold sweat. After this fright, Feifei immediately put away his dangerous curiosity, hurriedly crossed the glowing clam, and continued to swim deeper into the lake. After swimming forward for a long distance, suddenly, a strange dark blue picture appeared in front of him. There were strange-shaped stalactites on the bottom of the lake, as well as various fish, shrimps, crabs and other underwater creatures with strange appearances. Just as Feifei was looking around, a huge two-headed fish swam towards Feifei. This fish had two heads, the upper one was smaller and the lower one was larger, but both were flat. The two-headed fish swam to 1 meter in front of Feifei, and actually stopped. The larger flat fish head at the bottom asked, "Are you tired of living, turtle, and you actually ran down from the lake? You will be crushed by the lake water, do you know?" The strange fish seemed to know that Feifei would understand what it said. As expected, Feifei also said in the Mandarin of lake bottom fish, "I'm not afraid of being crushed, I just want to come down and see the beautiful scenery deep in the lake." The two-headed fish, the big head below, said in astonishment, "Good fellow, you are brave. What do you think is good here?" Looking at the strange fish in front of him, he couldn't help asking, "I say, brother strange fish, how come you have two heads? Could it be that the pressure of the lake has no effect on you?" The two-headed fish said proudly, "It's not that there is no effect, but the greater the pressure, the more we have to resist and the more we have to express ourselves, so we grow two heads without noticing." Feifei also echoed with deep feeling, "Yes, this is called where there is oppression, there is resistance." I never thought that this sentence also applies to creatures on alien planets, the two-headed fish asked curiously. Turtle warrior, do you feel uncomfortable now? After hearing what the strange fish said, Feifei also felt very strange. No, I feel very good now. Although he said so, he soon realized in his heart that the top fairy grass from the snow mountain that he had eaten was taking effect. The two-headed strange fish stared at Feifei with its four eyes in amazement for a long time, leaving only one sentence, "Good luck." After that, it turned and left. After a while, another hooked fish swam over, and on its back there was a retractable hook. Before Feifei could react, the fish hooked Feifei's back with its unique hook and stopped just inches away from Feifei, panting and muttering to itself, "Hey, it took me a lot of effort to find such a suitable place. Looking at this kind-looking turtle, I should be able to rest for a while." When Feifei heard this, she said in fish Mandarin angrily, "If you want to rest, just rest. Why are you talking so much nonsense?" As soon as the words fell, the hooked fish trembled with fear. It looked at Feifei in surprise, and said with its mouth open, You can actually speak our fish language. Are you a monster?" Feifei smiled disapprovingly and said, "I'm not a monster, just an animal linguist." "Animal linguist? What is that?" asked the hooked fish in confusion. "How can I tell you? The so-called animal linguist is someone who knows the languages of many animals, including those that fly in the sky, walk on the ground, and swim in the water. They know almost all of them." Feifei couldn't help but brag about himself. "Ah, so powerful. If it's not a monster, then what else could it be?" Hooked fish actually believed it. "Am I really a monster? Then tell me how I look like a monster. Did I scare you?" Feifei was angry and amused. No mistakes in the poem, the content, the book, the forum. "Of course you scared me to death, but looking at you like this, you may not be a very bad monster, but a good monster," Hooked fish explained. "Really? Don't you think your statement is strange?" Feifei said with a smile. No, my statement is very reasonable. Since there are bad monsters in this world, there must be good monsters," Hooked fish said confidently. "Since we can't convince each other, I won't waste my words. Have you rested well now? I'm leaving, please put down your hook," Feifei said impatiently. "Oh, sorry, I've rested well. Please go ahead." As soon as the words fell, the hooked fish took back the hook on Feifei's back and let Feifei leave freely. Unexpectedly, before Feifei swam far, a more unique double ball fish came to her. This so-called double ball fish has two separate individuals, and these two individuals are like big balls. The two big balls are connected by a strong and long chain. But when Feifei was staring at this bizarre double ball fish in a daze, she saw the two big balls suddenly tied Feifei up with a long chain, and then opened their bloody mouths to bite Feifei from the left and right. Feifei was so scared that she immediately retracted her head and limbs into her turtle shell and hid. Then, I could hear a series of crackling sounds coming from outside the turtle's shell, as the sharp teeth of the big fish bit into the turtle's shell. Chapter 444, Distress at the Bottom of the Lake. After a long while of gnawing sounds, they suddenly stopped, and then a voice was heard from the left. "Boss, I think we may have found the wrong target. This thing is too hard." Then, another voice was heard from the right. "Yeah, we have never encountered a monster that swims so fast and is so hard and inedible," the ballfish on the left said. "That's right. What kind of monster is this?" "This is the first time we have seen it in our lives," the ballfish on the right replied. "I think it may have come down from the lake." "Ah, no way. Haven't we seen many kinds of fish and shrimp coming down from above being flattened by the water pressure at the bottom of the lake? Who knows? Maybe this is a freak that is not afraid of being flattened or crushed to death." "Oh, that's really strange. So are we still going to gnaw on this freak now? It's so hard. What's the point of gnawing on it? Don't let us not get the meat, but instead gnaw off our teeth. That would be not worth it. Are we just going to let this guy go? We both caught a big one with great difficulty. What can we do? It's bad luck for both of us. Let's retreat." As soon as the voice fell, the double ball fish untied Feifei, and then he didn't even bother to look at Feifei. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared completely. It wasn't until the turtle shell was quiet again that Feifei stretched his head and limbs out of the turtle shell again, glanced around, and felt relieved. Feifei thought that this time, I can finally take a breath, right? Indeed, in the following period of time, those strange fishes no longer came to disturb him. Unfortunately, the good times didn't last long. Just when Feifei turned around a strange rock forest and came to a flat sandy and gravelly land at the bottom of the lake, he suddenly felt a flash of light in front of his eyes. Before he could react, He was knocked over by some monster, his forelegs in the air, his head confused, and he didn't know what was going on. Then, the monster hit Feifei's butt violently again, causing Feifei to flip backwards several somersaults, making Feifei dizzy and feeling stars in front of his eyes. Finally, he was still knocked upside down on the ground. Before Feifei could come to his senses, the monster suddenly opened its bloody mouth and bit Feifei's butt. Then, Feifei felt like he was on a train in an underwater tunnel, running forward at lightning speed, and lying on his belly. The underwater scenery around him was moving backwards from his head to his tail. What kind of monster is this? Why is it so ferocious? Why are the monsters in the depths of the lake more powerful than each other? What is the reason? At this time, a series of questions involuntarily emerged from Feifei's mind, making Feifei confused. However, before Feifei could find the answer, he heard a bang and was knocked away from the original monster's mouth by a huge monster again. He turned dozens of somersaults in the water and finally fell on a pile of sand and gravel. Fortunately, he did not fall upside down this time, but he was soon stunned by the scene not far away. It turned out that two huge boat-shaped fish with straight backs and curved bellies, were colliding with each other. The intensity of the fight was so fierce that Feifei was amazed. Feifei called this kind of fish bumper fish, similar to bumper cars. Obviously, one of the bumper fish must have collided with the other bumper fish, with Feifei in its mouth, causing Feifei to be knocked away. These bumper fish rely on knocking the prey unconscious and then swallowing them, but they often collide with each other to compete for prey, and even become enemies and fight each other. The two bumper fish in front of them are a pair of old enemies. As long as one of them hunts for food, the other will come to fight for it after seeing it. Therefore, what happened just now was not accidental, but inevitable. Unless the first bumper fish ate Feifei on the spot, or did not encounter the other bumper fish, this kind of thing would inevitably happen. Seeing these two monsters colliding with each other and causing the surrounding water flow to be turbulent, Feifei was at a loss for a moment. She just stood aside and watched the excitement, but did not notice that a new danger was coming behind her. This was a huge lake crab. Its pair of giant claws were more than 1 meter long, and its body was larger and thicker than Feifei. It was lurking in the gravel near Feifei. When it saw Feifei fall here, it thought it was a pie in the sky and was extremely excited. It immediately moved behind Feifei quietly, suddenly stretched out its most powerful weapon, giant claws, and clamped Feifei's body fiercely, holding Feifei tightly. Feifei immediately retracted his head and limbs into the turtle shell, becoming a turtle again. The giant crab that Feifei encountered was the largest crab in the lake, known as the king crab. At the moment, the king crab thought Feifei was a soft persimmon and was easy to bully. At the same time, it thought that its big claws were invincible and anyone could deal with it. Unexpectedly, Feifei's tortoise shell was so hard, and its strong and powerful claws that had almost never met an opponent could not do anything to Feifei, the tortoise. No mistake, 1 post, 1 content, 1 6, 1 book, 1 bar. Could it be that Feifei's tortoise shell was really much harder than other tortoises, or that the giant crab had never attacked a tortoise before? No, although this giant crab has never attacked a turtle as big as Feifei, it has attacked a turtle that is smaller than Feifei. Moreover, it used brute force to squeeze the turtle that was smaller than Feifei before. The poor turtle couldn't stand it and foolishly stretched out its head to vent its anger. The king crab immediately opened its right giant claw at lightning speed and pinched the turtle's neck, killing and eating it mercilessly. This time, the king crab met Feifei and wanted to do the same thing. Unexpectedly, it encountered a nail. No matter how hard it tried, Feifei just didn't stretch out her head and limbs, leaving the giant crab helpless. In fact, if this guy didn't use 2 giant claws to clamp Feifei's body when he attacked for the first time, but used 1 giant claw to pinch Feifei's neck, then Feifei would most likely have died by now. Now it was too late for the king crab to regret. At the same time, the king crab's sneak attack also made Feifei break out in a cold sweat. However, if the king crab wanted to give Feifei a fatal blow at the beginning, it would attack directly from behind Feifei. The length of the king crab's giant claws might not be enough. After all, Feifei is not small. But if the king crab moved to the side of Feifei to attack, the length of the giant claws would be enough. But it would be too close to Feifei and would be very likely to be discovered by Feifei, which might also lead to failure. In short, the king crab's sneak attack on Feifei was undoubtedly a miscalculation, but it was still unwilling to give up. The two sides were deadlocked for about half an hour. Finally, the king crab was out of tricks and had to admit defeat, let go of the giant claws, and left in dismay. Chapter 445, Underwater Monster. Despite encountering dangers one after another, Feifei still did not change his determination to explore the deepest part of the lake. When heading deeper into the lake again, Feifei became more cautious, almost keeping an eye on all directions and listening to all directions, and even looking back every 5 steps. Unexpectedly, the more you fear something, the more it will come. Just as Feifei was swimming forward with trepidation, suddenly, a monster swam from the right front of him. Speaking of this monster, it was really strange. How strange is it? Speaking of it, you may not believe that there are such strange fish in the world, and they are freshwater fish at the bottom of the lake. In the deep of the dark lake, at least 1,000 meters below the water surface, there is such a luminous fish. When it opens its mouth, it will extend its tongue half a meter long out of its mouth, and on the tip of its tongue there is a round flash lamp that emits beige light, which can illuminate the surrounding area of 10 to 20 square meters. Before this luminous fish closes its mouth, it will retract its tongue into its mouth, and the flash lamp will no longer emit light, and the surrounding will return to darkness. For the sake of description, we call this fish tongue lamp fish. In a blink of an eye, this tongue lamp fish swam in front of Feifei, looked at Feifei carefully, and asked, "Hey, where are you from? Why do you come to our quiet underwater world?" When this guy spoke, he retracted the meat lamp on the tip of his tongue into his mouth, but there was still a faint light overflowing from his mouth. After he finished speaking, he stretched out the tongue lamp from his mouth to illuminate Feifei's face and looked at Feifei seriously. "Tisk, I haven't said you are a monster yet, but you are talking about me," Feifei said indignantly in Mandarin, the language of lake-bottom fish. "Who is the monster between us? Of course it's you. You walk without turning on the light and like to walk in the dark. I have never seen a monster as stupid as you," the tongue lamp fish said confidently. "Why do you say I am a monster because I walk without turning on the light?" Feifei argued. "I am doing this to save electricity, do you understand? You are a prodigal son, you turn on the light just to walk, it's such a waste. Even if you are not a monster, you are still a thief. Only thieves walk in the dark. In short, you are not a good fish," the tongue light fish argued. Oh, the other party is getting excited. What Feifei never expected was that this guy actually argued with him. "I am not a fish, so there is no such thing as good fish or bad fish. In short, I am not a monster, you are the monster," Feifei argued. Unexpectedly, the tongue light fish was so unreasonable, so he said, "You monster is too unreasonable. I won't talk to you anymore, I'm leaving." As soon as the voice fell, he immediately turned around and left, disappearing in the blink of an eye. After driving away the ignorant tongue light fish, Feifei continued to move forward, thinking as he swam, was he wrong just now, and he even angered a reasonable fish away. It was so funny. As he swam, there was a squeak sound, and Feifei suddenly felt that he was entangled by something again and couldn't move. Just when he was feeling depressed and puzzled, suddenly a bandage beside him was exposed, gradually forming a small ball as big as an apple. And then it became bigger and bigger until it became a ball as big as a basket. At the same time, it gradually emitted a yellow-green light, yellow inside and green outside, shining continuously. Seeing this, Feifei immediately retracted his head and limbs into the turtle shell, and then asked curiously in fish Mandarin, "Hey, friend, why did you tie me up? Do you want to eat me, Tisk?" "Isn't this nonsense?" the monster said shamelessly. "The purpose of tying you up is of course to eat you in the end. However, this is the first time I have seen a monster like you, and I don't know where to start. Can you tell me, please?" "Fuck you, you bastard want to eat me, and you want me to tell you where to start? This is outrageous. If you don't tell me where to start, how can I eat you? Before this, I have never eaten a monster like you. Then let me tell you, you can't eat anywhere on me. My whole body is poisonous. If you take a bite, you'll be dead. Even if you tie me up for too long, you'll be poisoned. My body shell is also poisonous. Believe it or not, I've told you everything I should tell you. It's up to you." Feifei took the opportunity to threaten such a stupid monster. "Ah. Could it be that you are not a monster, but a poisonous creature?" The monster was frightened by Feifei's words and trembled all over, then obediently loosened the straps on Feifei's body. Before leaving, he said unwillingly, "I didn't expect that after so much trouble, I caught a big prey, but it turned out to be poisonous. I'm unlucky. Let's go. Feifei had just driven away a strange fish, and now he scared away a monster. He felt that this exploration at the bottom of the lake was exciting, interesting and quite fun. So, when he was happy, he actually hummed the song of the little apple. You are my little apple, I can never love you enough. Your red little face warms my heart and lights up the fire of my life. You are my little apple, just like the most beautiful cloud in the sky. Spring is here again, and the hillside is full of flowers. If you plant hope, you will reap it. I never hate you. I like everything about you. Every day with you is fresh, the sun is brighter with you, and the night is not dark with you. Soon, Feifei came to a low-lying area deep in the lake. There were bubbles everywhere. There were many small fish and shrimps gathered in these bubbling places. He was very shocked and puzzled. Could it be that these small fish and shrimps have mutated and can completely withstand such strong pressure at the bottom of the lake? Then can their meat be eaten? Will it be poisonous? With strong curiosity and adventurous spirit, Feifei bravely caught a small fish and put it in his mouth to taste it. Well, it tasted good and very chewy. After a long time, there was no adverse reaction. It seems that these small fish and shrimps should not be poisonous. No mistakes, one post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum. Since these small fish and shrimps can be used, there is no need to be timid, so Feifei boldly preys on these small fish and shrimps. Because Feifei's current power has greatly increased, and the pressure he is under at the bottom of the lake is very high, he needs more energy to maintain the good operation of his body. Therefore, Feifei's appetite is several times larger than before, which forces him to prey on several times more small fish and shrimps than before to satisfy his hunger. Fortunately, there are countless turtle delicacies here, small fish and shrimps, which can allow Feifei to live here for a long time, but Feifei can't stay here for these delicacies. He still has many places to visit and explore. However, after eating and drinking enough, it is not a bad idea to rest here for a day or two. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446, Unexpected Disaster. After all, it is not easy to find such an ideal place to eat and live deep in the lake. After living very comfortably in the food city at the bottom of the lake for 2 days, Feifei embarked on a new journey. This trip was relatively smooth at the beginning. When he climbed over several lake bottom hills and passed through several underwater canyons, he hardly encountered any major troubles. However, when he came to a large piece of muddy flat land, he was stunned. What appeared in front of him was a beautiful picture, a group of strange lake bottom milk rock trees that glowed with dark blue light like corals. There were many lake clams on these trees, and each lake clam shell had a night pearl, which emitted a different brilliance at the bottom of the lake. But just when Feifei was stunned, suddenly, from the lake clam forest, a dozen meters long underwater black dragon snake sprang out and pounced on Feifei fiercely. At this time, it was too late for a Feifei to turn around and leave, so he had to be a turtle again. Seeing this python-like snake tightly wrapping around Feifei, making it airtight and making it difficult for Feifei to breathe, this was the first huge threat Feifei encountered since entering the lake. Unexpectedly, the snake wrapped around Feifei and kept rolling in the water, making Feifei dizzy and dizzy. Not long after, he fainted. Feifei never dreamed that he would encounter an accident in front of such a beautiful lake bottom. I don't know how long it took, but Feifei was awakened by a hot and thick liquid. When he opened his eyes, he saw that it was pitch black. What happened? It turned out that not long after Feifei fainted, the black dragon snake at the bottom of the lake saw that Feifei had no life and thought that he had been suffocated in its arms, so it opened its bloody mouth and swallowed Feifei into its stomach. At this moment, the stomach acid solution in the snake's stomach rushed into Feifei's 5 eye holes like waves, making Feifei feel very uncomfortable. He realized that he was in danger. What should I do? I must not sit and wait for death. Feifei began to struggle desperately with all his strength. Is it a dying struggle or a desperate counterattack? It all depends on God's will. He first used the sharpest edge of his tortoise shell to cut a flesh wall of the surrounding black dragon snakes, looking for the hardest point of force. If a certain place is the hardest, it means that the outer skin of the snake in that place is against the hard object outside, such as rocks. In this way, The skin of the snake will inevitably be torn apart, and Feifei may even take the opportunity to break a big hole and escape. In this way, Feifei desperately rolled and cut in the belly of the black dragon snake, looking for the hardest place, making the last struggle of life. In this way, the black dragon snake was in great pain, and it rolled over involuntarily. One rolled inside, and the other rolled outside. The more violent the rolling inside, the more violent the rolling outside. Now everyone rolled together, and suddenly there was a bang sound. The black dragon snake's long body accidentally hit a large rock because of rolling. As luck would have it, there was a huge lake clam hidden in the crack of this large rock. The sharp edge of the clam shell was facing the body of the black dragon snake. After the fierce collision of the black dragon snake, a large cut of about 1 meter long was immediately cut on the snake's body. Feifei immediately felt that the thick and corrosive gastric acid solution in the black dragon snake's body quickly withdrew from the body and flowed out of the snake's body. At the same time, the black dragon snake was in unbearable pain because its stomach was cut, and it rolled and struggled more frantically. Feifei was not idle either. He turned over and rolled over. Feifei suddenly found that there was a place in the snake's body that had almost no resistance and was particularly weak. Could it be that the black dragon snake had been cut in the stomach? Thinking of this, Feifei couldn't help but be surprised and happy, so he squeezed his body towards the softest part of the snake's body. As the black dragon snake rolled and Feifei rolled, it didn't take long for Feifei to roll out of the black dragon snake's stomach. The black dragon snake was bleeding too much and couldn't support its physical strength. Finally, it collapsed on the ground and stopped moving. Not long after, it died. Feifei finally escaped the biggest disaster since he was reborn as a turtle. He felt sincerely fortunate, but he was still scared. Since there are such dangerous underwater beasts here, it is obviously not possible to stay here for a long time. It is better to run away as the best strategy of the 36 strategies. Feifei no longer dared to stop here to admire the beautiful scenery. He turned around and left, swimming to another place. But he had only walked less than 200 meters when he accidentally fell into a trap. This was an underwater spider web woven by a huge underwater spider with many transparent spider silks. The underwater female spider named Phoenixy was stunned when she saw that the creature that broke into the spider web she had carefully woven was such a big turtle. She kept muttering in her heart, "What kind of monster is this? Why is it so big? It seems to have a very hard shell. It seems that it is not easy to eat the meat in the shell of this monster." At this moment, Feifei was even more puzzled, thinking, how come there is a spider web at the bottom of the lake, and such a scary big spider? Now Feifei wanted to talk to the underwater female spider in the language of underwater creatures, but he felt that he didn't have the language of such creatures stored in his mind, so he quickly searched in his mind and soon found the column of lake spider. When he opened it, all kinds of daily conversations immediately flooded into his mind, making him dizzy. He immediately browsed and familiarized himself with it at the fastest speed. In about a quarter of an hour, he basically mastered thousands of daily expressions. Then, Feifei politely said in the language of lake spiders, "Beautiful spider woman, hello. Although I am very unfortunate to break into the trap you designed, I am indeed not your food. Please be kind and let me go. I will definitely reward you handsomely in the future. No mistakes in one song, one post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum, one look." When the underwater spider heard this, she immediately stared at Feifei with her eyes, almost dropping her jaw in shock, and stammered, You, what kind of monster are you? How can you speak the language of our underwater spiders? Tell the truth quickly." When she saw the other party speak, Feifei thought, "This time I am finally saved." Then, Feifei said slowly, "Spider woman, in fact, I am not a monster, but a traveler who knows many animal languages, not a monster, knowing many animal languages, and a traveler. Are there such powerful animals in the world? I don't believe it. Tell the truth quickly, don't talk nonsense, deliberately make up lies, and try to get away with it. This girl has never been a vegetarian. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." The underwater spider didn't believe what Feifei said at all, and even threatened to use violence. Chapter 447, Difficult Misunderstanding. Seeing that the water spider at the bottom of the lake didn't believe what she said, Feifei couldn't help but complain in her heart, "What should I do? She is so stubborn, how can I persuade her?" After thinking for a while, Feifei blinked and said, Spider-Woman, believe it or not, I'm really not a monster. I'm just smarter than almost all animals. The underwater female spider heard what Feifei said, her eyes rolled around, and then she said, "You are bragging. What makes you say you are the smartest of all animals? What evidence do you have? Tell me the truth." Feifei was provoked by her provocation and blurted out, "Of course I have a reason to say that. It's because I used to be a human from an alien planet. After being captured by the humans on this planet, I was pulled here to do a scientific experiment called soul transplant surgery. They transplanted my soul into the head of a white-haired dog, and I was reborn as a white-haired dog. Before that, they also packaged the languages of thousands of animals and transferred them into my soul. Later, I was reborn as a fox, a virus, a bacterium, a louse and other creatures, and finally as a turtle. So, my IQ is undoubtedly the highest among animals." "Ah. You actually transformed from a human from an alien planet, and then you transformed into so many animals and creatures. You still say you are not a monster? I think you are 100% a monster. I want to eat you, the monster," the underwater female spider said in surprise and indignation. "Wait, you can't eat me. Otherwise, it will be too late for you to regret," Feifei threatened. "What? Do you want to scare me? I was not brought up to be scared by you," the underwater female spider said disapprovingly. "Then listen to me carefully. Do you know how I reincarnate every time? If you know, you won't be so impulsive, good monster. Then tell me in detail, let me hear it. Every time when my life is about to end, I transplant my soul into the head of the animal I designate, restraining and replacing the original soul of the animal, and generally replacing the soul of the animal that killed me. Do you understand? If you eat me, before my life ends, my soul will definitely replace your soul. That is, I will not die, but will kill yourself, and I will occupy your body instead of you," Feifei explained patiently. "Ah. You are so powerful, and you still say that you are not a monster. I think you are not only a monster, but also a devil, a super devil. Get out of here quickly. If you don't get out, then I will get out. Can't we just hide from you if we can't afford to offend you?" As soon as the voice fell, the underwater mother spider fled in panic. "Hey, wait, you haven't untied the spider silk on me yet," Feifei shouted anxiously. "You can untie it yourself." This sentence came from the mouth of the underwater female spider who had already escaped far away. Feifei's words of truth actually scared away the tiger who was originally aggressive and seemed invincible. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but shook his head with a wry smile, and began to try to untie the spider silk on his body. However, he didn't expect that the spider web in the water was much tougher than the spider web on land, and the adhesion was much stronger. Feifei tried his best but still couldn't untie it, and he couldn't help but get annoyed. At this moment, suddenly, another underwater spider appeared from nowhere. Seeing Feifei, the turtle, struggling desperately in the spider web, he couldn't help but exclaim in joy, "Wow, what a big prey. I'm lucky today. I'll give this guy an injection and see how you can move." When Feifei heard this, he complained in his heart, "Why am I so unlucky today? I just escaped from the belly of the black dragon snake and met the rude and unreasonable female spider. I finally scared away the spider, but why did another one come? It seems that I have to be a turtle." Seeing that the big underwater spider's big poison needle was about to pierce, he quickly retracted his head and limbs into the turtle shell. "I want to see, is your poison needle harder, or is my turtle shell harder?" Then, Feifei heard a series of da, da, da sounds coming from outside his turtle shell. Obviously, this underwater spider had no way to deal with Feifei's hard turtle shell. Listening to the futile sound of needles outside the turtle shell, Feifei hiding in the turtle shell couldn't help but laugh out loud, and the big underwater spider that was helpless with Feifei's turtle shell heard Feifei's laughter and couldn't help but cursed in shame and anger. "You damn stone monster, how come you are so hard? Are you really made of stone?" Feifei deliberately angered the big underwater spider and said, "If I don't make my skin harder, won't I become your meal?" The big underwater spider asked in amazement, "Wow, I didn't expect that you, a stone monster, can actually speak the language of us underwater spiders. It's not simple. Who did you learn it from? Did my wife teach you? Confess honestly, have you seduced her?" Seeing this guy's suspicion, Feifei couldn't help but find it funny, so she said bluntly, "I can speak the language of underwater spiders. Not your wife taught me, I learned it by myself. I didn't seduce your wife, but she tried to seduce me just now, but I rejected her." "Nonsense, it must be that bitch," The stinky woman who taught you to speak our language of underwater spiders, it must be. Seeing that you speak so fluently, it means that you have been having an affair for a long time. I didn't expect that this bitch couldn't help it after I was away for only a few days. However, the only thing that puzzles me now is how can she like you, a guy who looks like a stone? It's really tasteless. I feel sorry for her, the male underwater spider said to himself. This is called different people have different tastes, Feifei deliberately said angrily. Good guy, so you admit that there is an affair between you? The male underwater spider immediately seized Feifei's words with surprise. Have I ever told you that I had an affair with your wife? Don't go around making up stories, okay? Feifei said defensively. Then what do you mean by different people have different tastes? What I mean is that you and your wife are sleeping in the same bed but dreaming different dreams and have different interests and hobbies. No, that's not what I mean. I think you and my wife are definitely in love and hit it off right away. Hey, men, you can't frame your wife like that. If you say such nonsense in front of her, it will hurt her heart. Look, you are still defending her and saying that you two are not having an affair. You are trying to cover up what you have done and you are admitting your guilt. Hey, are you kidding me? I'm trying to reconcile you and your wife and resolve unnecessary misunderstandings. Why are you putting the blame on someone else? Hey, this is really a dog biting Lu Dongbin and not knowing the good man's heart. Have you heard of the saying it is better to demolish 10 temples than to abolish a family relationship? I am saying this to you with a kind heart. Chapter 448, A Plan to Earn Money from Spiders. You're so kind? You're kidding me. You're just pretending to be a good person, trying to get away with it in front of me, the male spider said arbitrarily. Since you like to be cuckolded so much, I can't help you, Feifei said with a hint of ridicule. Seeing that Feifei gave up so quickly, the male underwater spider couldn't help but say complacently, no matter what you say, I will go to that slut to verify it in the end. Don't be happy too soon. Humph. After that, he looked under Feifei, and inadvertently found the hole in Feifei's turtle shell that was responsible for the entry and exit of the turtle's head. He couldn't help but said overjoyed, good guy, I finally found your vital point. I'm going to kill you now, and see if you dare to hook up with my wife. Feifei, who was hiding in the turtle shell, asked puzzledly, what do you want to do? Don't mess around, otherwise, you will regret it. Will I regret killing a cheating thief? Stop telling jokes, I won't be fooled by you. Now I just need to insert my poison needle into your turtle hole, and it will be all over. It's so cool. Ha ha, the male underwater spider laughed stubbornly. When Feifei heard this, she was shocked. She didn't expect this guy to be so vicious. She must not let his plot succeed. What should she do? Suddenly, Feifei thought that the top of her turtle mouth and teeth were still hard. It seemed that this was the only way. She first used the hard tip of her mouth and chin to push the male spider's poison needle to slow down its insertion into the hole, and then waited for an opportunity to bite off the poison needle with her teeth. Thinking of this, Feifei quietly prepared in secret to avoid alerting the snake. However, the male spider, who was ignorant of the world, saw that Feifei was silent and thought that Feifei was afraid, so he confidently aimed his poison needle at the hole in Feifei's turtle shell located on her neck and thrust it in fiercely. Because Feifei was in a relatively low position, this thrust became a downward slant thrust, rather than a horizontal straight thrust, which gave Feifei an opportunity to take advantage of. Feifei immediately used the tip of her hard mouth to hold back the spider's venom needle, then pretended to be exhausted and slowly retreated. When she had no way to retreat, she suddenly opened her mouth and bit the venom needle hard. With a crisp crack sound, the venom needle was bitten off by Feifei's teeth. Then Feifei took advantage of the male spider not being able to react and quickly bit the broken venom needle with her mouth again, and bit off another small piece with her teeth. The two bites together left only half of the male spider's venom needle. At this time, the male spider just felt something was wrong, and hurriedly retracted his poison needle. He saw that half of his poison needle was missing. He couldn't help but repent. My God, what's going on? How can I live in the future? You devil, you are so vicious, I hate you so much. Seeing this, Feifei had to explain, this is not my fault, you forced me. You wanted to kill me, and I had no choice but to take self-defense measures. The male spider immediately retorted angrily, you are a shameless quibble, you lecher. From now on, I will never coexist with you. Feifei hurriedly persuaded, don't be angry. Anger is harmful to your health, and a bad temper will not be good for you. the male spider said angrily. You really pissed me off. Hey, I'd better go find my baby. I'm disabled now, and I can't live without her. Feifei pretended not to understand and asked, who is your baby? Why don't I know? The male spider said angrily. My baby is of course my wife. You wild man from outside, don't even think about getting in and macing things up. Didn't you just call your wife a slut, a bitch and a bitch? How come she's your baby now? In the blink of an eye, she's turned from a crow into a phoenix. I'm angry at you, such a sinister and vicious guy, and I've lost my normal judgment, so it's all my fault. Don't you have any responsibility at all? Of course, how could I be wrong? I'm always right. Only you, a cunning and stubborn thing, are the root of all disasters. Humph. I'm leaving. I'm going to find my baby, my dearest wife. As soon as he finished speaking, the male spider turned and walked out. Please wait a moment, I have something else to say, otherwise, you will regret it. Feifei hurriedly called the male spider. What the hell? Say it. I don't have time to hang out with a bad thing like you. It's nothing big. I just want you to remove the spider silk from my body. Hey, go to hell with you, you bastard. You actually have such a wild idea that you want me to untie you. Dream on. I wish you were trapped here to death. If you untie me, you are leaving yourself a way out. Didn't you say that your wife and I are in love and hit it off right away? If you don't untie me, then I will stay here forever and let your baby untie me. By then, don't expect to reconcile with your wife. I'm afraid you won't even have a place to cry. Now I'm kindly reminding you that I sympathize with you. After all, I have caused you to be disabled. Therefore, I want to withdraw from here and not cause you any more trouble. I hope you understand my intentions. You really turned from a devil into a bodhisattva. Are you sure you didn't lie to me? Of course, things in this world are often unpredictable. It's not uncommon for someone to be a devil just now and become a bodhisattva now, then swear an oath that you will never interfere in our family's affairs again. I swear to heaven that I will never interfere in your family's affairs again, and I will never hook up with your woman again. If I tell even a single lie, I will be struck by lightning and die a miserable death. Well, seeing how you're so sure of your oath, I'll believe you this time. If you dare to break your promise, I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. As soon as he finished speaking, the male spider really came back and carefully untied Feifei, and skillfully wiped off the spider silk on Feifei's body. After getting rid of the spider silk at the bottom of the lake, Feifei happily patted the male spider's back with his right front paw and said, "Thank you, spider brother. Actually, there is nothing between me and your baby. She didn't seduce me, and I didn't seduce her. You really misunderstood her and me. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask her. Really, you really didn't seduce my baby." The male spider still didn't believe it. But how can you speak the language of our underwater spiders, and speak it so fluently? That's because I am a master of language in the animal world. I can speak many kinds of animal languages, including those that fly in the sky, walk on the ground, and swim in the water. Feifei had to be honest and frank. I don't believe it. Then don't you become a monster. The male spider didn't believe Feifei's words at all. Only a fool would believe it. Is there really such a powerful animal in the world? In fact, your baby said to me just like you did. She also insisted that I was a monster, and finally she was scared away by my words. Feifei told the truth. Chapter 449, Electric Monster. Ah, was she really scared away by you? The male underwater spider asked in surprise and doubt. You really didn't seduce her? Of course, you don't think about it carefully. I am a turtle, and she is an underwater spider like you. I am not the same species as you, so how could there be an affair? This is a complete misunderstanding, all your imagination. Now it's all right. I have to go. I wish your family harmony and happiness. Bye. After saying that, Feifei turned around and swam out without looking back. Looking at Feifei's gradually leaving back, the male underwater spider didn't come back to his senses for a long time. His intuition told him, this is not true, this must be a dream. In this way, Feifei once again embarked on a dangerous and interesting lakebed adventure. After walking for about half a day, he seemed to have come to confused, chaotic, dark and unclear depths of the lake. In this dreamlike dark place, Feifei felt as if he was sleepwalking, swimming to the left and then to the right, seeming to be very leisurely and happy. Suddenly, Feifei felt that his 2 front feet touched a large piece of very soft thing, but he couldn't see what it was. At this moment, he suddenly heard a voice, "Ouch, you touched my belly." Then, Two flashing lights like eyes appeared on Feifei's head, flashing. My goodness, what kind of monster is this? Why can't I see it? Feifei thought so, and slapped the monster with his front paws. The monster yelled again, oh my god, why are you slapping me so hard? What's wrong with you? Seeing this, Feifei couldn't help laughing, and deliberately said in a muffled voice, we can slap you if we want, what's your business? Unexpectedly, the monster said, actually, it's not that I don't want you to pat me, but you can't always pat me in the same place. You can pat me all over my body. Feifei felt very strange when he heard it, so he asked, why do you want me to pat you all over your body? What's wrong with you? The monster explained, if you always pat me in the same place, I will feel very uncomfortable. Only when you pat me all over my body, I will feel very comfortable. Oh, this monster is really interesting. It wants me to pat it all over. Wouldn't I become its servant? It really knows how to enjoy it. Humph, no way. Feifei thought so, and turned to leave. Unexpectedly, the monster screamed, you can't leave. Since you have provoked me, you have to be responsible for me. If I don't want to be responsible for you, what can you do to me? Then I'll teach you a lesson. Oh, you dare to threaten me? I'm not afraid. Humph, I'm leaving now. As soon as the voice fell, Feifei really turned around and prepared to walk out. Unexpectedly, he just turned around and had not taken a step, and suddenly felt a blue glowing arc instantly filled his body. Suddenly, tens of thousands of fine needles were piercing his skin all over his body, and his heart was beating wildly. The pain was unbearable. After a fierce trembling and discomfort, he could no longer move. This shocked Feifei, and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seems that this slave job serving the master is something he can't do even if he doesn't want to. Being coerced to such an extent, Feifei had to surrender. After all, a wise man never suffers a loss in front of him. So he had to beg in a low voice, my lord, I am willing to serve you. I beg you to untie me. Seeing Feifei in such an embarrassed state, the monster couldn't help laughing. Ha ha. I see you still want to leave? Without my order, don't even think about leaving me. Now you should know how powerful I am. Feifei had already cursed this monster in his heart, but he said flatteringly, of course I know, sir, you have always been wise and powerful, awe-inspiring, arrogant and domineering. Don't flatter me, little thing. Well, that's not right. What did you say just now? What do you mean by arrogant and domineering? Are you praising me or scolding me? The monster asked angrily. Of course I'm praising you. All the words I use to describe you are compliments, but I have a limited vocabulary, so sometimes I may not be very appropriate or agreeable to you. Please forgive me, Feifei hurriedly explained. I didn't realize that you are quite cunning. Well, I won't bother with you this time. Come over here and serve me, the monster said. How do you pat me? Feifei asked knowingly. Just do it like before, but you have to pat your whole body, the monster said. Okay then. After saying that, Feifei thought about it, and then he patted his forelegs up and down, left and right, and at the same time, his body turned around. This is the turtle patting method he came up with on a whim. Ha ha, little thing, you are working hard. Well, not bad, just like that, continue, the monster said with a comfortable body. Feifei was slapping the monster vigorously, cursing in her heart, you monster bastard are comfortable, but I am exhausted like a turtle grandson. Oh, no, I am a turtle to begin with, and it is only natural that I am exhausted like a turtle grandson. Hey! Why am I so unlucky? Why do I have to become a turtle bastard? In this way, Feifei was complaining in her heart while serving the monster vigorously until the monster was so comfortable that it fell asleep. Feifei stopped slapping when she heard the monster snoring like thunder. At this time, Feifei was already sweating all over, panting, and exhausted. She didn't expect that the body of this almost transparent monster was very huge, and slapping the monster was tiring enough. However, it may also be that Feifei was not used to doing intense activities under the extremely high water pressure at the bottom of the lake. Not long after, Feifei, who was exhausted, fell into deep sleep, entering a dreamlike sleep. Feifei was awakened by an electric shock, but it was obvious that the flow of the electric shock was very weak, just enough to stimulate Feifei to wake up. This is really a very special underwater life. After Feifei was awakened, he naturally had to provide slapping and massage services for the monster. This is his daily homework in the future, and he is not allowed to cut corners or dawdle. In short, he must serve with all his heart. On this day, Feifei was really tired of this very boring and tedious life of serving the master as a slave, so he wanted to escape while the monster was sleeping. This is because Feifei has now greatly improved his physical strength and endurance through a period of slapping and massage services. After serving the monster every time, he no longer feels so tired, and therefore he will not go to bed immediately. Chapter 450, The Last Disciple. Therefore, Feifei thought he could escape while the monster was asleep. But when Feifei turned around and walked out less than 2 meters away, he was hit by a dazzling lightning, which made him feel numb and unable to move. At this time, Feifei really understood the power of this monster, and it was impossible to escape secretly. The only feasible way is to find out the real intention of the monster, and then prescribe the right medicine so as to make other plans for his future. Alice, from this point of view, leaving has to be considered in the long run. Now I can only stay with peace of mind. As the saying goes, if you come, you should make the best of it. In order to find out the intention of the monster, I must first establish a good relationship with the monster. Thinking of this, Feifei said, Uncle, what are you doing? Why do you have to tie up my limbs and make me unable to move? The monster said dissatisfiedly. Let me tell you, little thing, you are absolutely not allowed to escape. Next time, if I find you, I will make you pay for it. Feifei quickly explained, Uncle, I really didn't want to escape. I just wanted to go outside to pee. The monster didn't believe it at all and said, Don't try to scare me. I'm not deaf or blind. Little thing, do you think I don't know your little tricks? Feifei asked bitterly. Uncle, I don't understand. I have never met you before. We have no grudges in the past or present. Why do you want to target me so deliberately? The monster thought for a while and said, You little thing, you finally got it. That's good. There is a reason why I did this. But I don't plan to tell you now. As long as one day you serve me and make me feel very comfortable, maybe I will tell you when I am happy. It's not certain. When Feifei heard this, he was so angry that he was about to erupt like a volcano. However, facing the cruel reality, he had to choose to bow his head. What else could he do? As the saying goes, when you are under a low eaves, you have to bow your head. Now, Feifei had to hold back his rage and serve this unreasonable monster with a low head. Who made him incompetent and unable to deal with this old guy? Feifei served this charged old monster for many days, thinking that he would continue like this and never get ahead. Who knew that when Feifei sighed softly after serving the old monster suddenly spoke slowly. Do you regret provoking me now? Do you hate me for imprisoning you here to serve me? I dare not. I just want to serve you with all my heart now. Feifei responded with a false heart. You are saying one thing and thinking another. You dare not tell the truth, right? Don't think I don't know what you are thinking. In fact, you want to escape from here all the time, because you have long regarded this place as a prison or a sea of suffering, the old monster said bluntly. No, absolutely not, I can swear to heaven, Feifei said solemnly. Don't swear anything. I have seen your sweet talk many times and I will not be fooled. However, I want to tell you something very important today. You must listen carefully. Your hard days will end today, the old monster said mysteriously. Ah, uncle, you can't do this. Feifei was frightened when he heard it, and hurriedly begged for mercy. I am willing to serve you for the rest of my life. Please don't kill me. While begging bitterly, he thought, how can this old monster kill without any sign beforehand? Is he an executioner who kills without blinking an eye, just based on his momentary interest? This is bad luck. I still have many places to explore and I haven't had enough fun. Am I going to be reincarnated right now? Must I be reborn as this old monster? But this old monster is so strange. I have never seen him move a single step. Could it be that he has been paralyzed and can't walk? If I am reborn as him in the future, wouldn't I also become a paralytic? This is not fun. I have to find a way to stop him from wanting to kill me. Thinking of this, Feifei immediately threatened loudly, Old monster, you must not kill me, otherwise, you will regret it. Unexpectedly, the old monster said calmly, when did I say I would kill you? But you just said that if I kill you, I will regret it. What do you mean? Can you tell me? Feifei was overjoyed when he heard that the old monster did not want to kill him. He nodded and thanked him quickly. It's nothing, I just wanted to scare you. I am very grateful that you didn't kill me. So, do you want to let me go today, Tisk? It turns out that you little things still want to scare me. That's really interesting, the old monster said disapprovingly. But, when I said I wouldn't kill you, it doesn't mean that I will let you go. But I want you to worship me as your master, and I will accept you as my close disciple. Ah, so that's the case. Feifei was shocked when he heard it, and he kept muttering in his heart, it seems that I will never be able to escape from the palm of this old monster in the future. Oh, my God, why is my life so miserable? Isn't it like leaving the wolf's den and entering the tiger's den? No mistake, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar. But just as Feifei was sighing, the old monster's words stunned Feifei. It turned out that the old monster saw that Feifei always misunderstood his meaning, so he pondered for a moment and finally revealed his final intention. In fact, the reason why I want to accept you as my last disciple is because I am too old and will soon go to another world. But before I leave, I am reluctant to give up my skills and want to leave them to the next generation. However, I have no children, no grandchildren, and no disciples, so I want to accept a disciple I like. However, I waited and waited, and many years have passed, but there is not a decent Gao running here for me to choose. I am about to die, but I didn't expect that you, little thing, would break into my world by mistake, allowing me to analyze and examine you calmly. After such a long period of assessment, I think you can basically meet my requirements. Although you are a little cunning, you are not bad by nature, so I decided to accept you as my last disciple. You should feel honored. I have seen people who take advantage of their age, but I have never seen one like the old monster. Feifei was crying in his heart, oh my God, I haven't found my first master yet, and I have to worship another old guy as my master. Is this considered a betrayal of the first master? It shouldn't be, but I don't know what benefits there are in worshipping this old monster as a master. Thinking of this, Feifei asked with a stiff upper lip, Uncle, it's not impossible for me to worship you as my master, but you should let me know what kind of kung fu you will teach me after I become your last disciple, and what else you need me to do for you. Hearing Feifei's question, the old monster was stunned. And then slowly replied, I will naturally let you know this. I see that you don't have the foundation to practice my kung fu now, so I can't teach you kung fu slowly according to common sense, and time does not allow it. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.